Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Precisely.
Welcome back to another episode of What We Watched, this time about the months of August and September. I'm your host, Josh, and my co-hosts joining me are Edgar Ortega.
He replaced Optimus Prime with a rat. Thank you for that. I guess I don't know what to say. I don't even know what the fuck that is. Anyway,
we'll talk about it more later.
I'm sure we'll talk about it. It's nice to be back for another monthly episode. What was the last one? July.
Sure.
July.
So Barbenheimer month.
Yeah, so it's been a while, but yeah, I'm excited. Not super packed months between August and September, but there's a few hidden gems here and there, so I'm excited to talk about those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and our other co-host, Evan Harris.
Glad to be back. We're back, August and September. I've watched a lot of movies recently. I'm still missing out on a couple of TV shows. But overall, there's been a couple of gems, like Edgar said. There's been a couple of great stuff, some stinkers, and a current, Star Wars show that's had people watching it. That's it. I got a lot of thoughts on Star Wars, a lot of thoughts on, recent movies as well. It's been great.
Yeah. It's been a pretty busy 2 months for me, which is mostly why we've waited to do August and September for myself to catch up on some movies, and just as we've all been busy with lives. Oh, yeah. And there's a lot to talk about this month. Also, before we start, though, we also want to do a little update on the whole SAG WGA situation.
We did it, Joe.
Since we last did a thing, the WGA accepted an offer from the AMPTP to end the strike, and they got a pretty fucking good deal, which is great. Yeah, but we can't forget that SAG is still on strike. They're still negotiating, and we still are full support of them, obviously.
Obviously, yeah. It seems to be, first off, with the WGA, I'm super happy they got a great deal. A lot of protections against AI, a lot of great deals in terms of bumps in percentages towards residuals and towards initial payments as well for the writers, and in terms of like writer agreements before they even get on the show. A lot of pre-production protections there. But overall, yeah, for the SAG, we're still in full support. They had the whole meeting yesterday. But it looks to be, at least from my point of view, that it's still a work in progress for SAG. It's not going to be as soon as people expected, especially after the WGA victory last week. So it seems like we're still in for the long haul for SAG, unfortunately, in my opinion.
Yeah, I kind of agree with both of you guys with what you guys have said so far. But we talk about sometimes about film, TV, and how it relates to social media, and how social media can often be more annoying than not, but you really can underestimate the power that social media had at this time around with this strike, as opposed to like previous ones, even the one in 2007. Just for example, like who would have thought that somebody who was mostly beloved by everybody, either whether they were fans or people working in the industry, somebody as Bob Iger is now became like a villain of like this whole ordeal. So again, like you really can underestimate the power that social media had with this whole thing. Not that I'm saying that it's mostly thanks to like social media, but like it really did have a really pivotal part to play in all of this.
And as much as people like give them shit sometimes, like shout out to discussing film.
Yeah,
like for like honestly
keeping it real.
Yeah, putting it on everything they post, and honestly probably like it might be too much to say, but they probably helped like at least put the word out more and helped.
Yeah. It's especially like, for example, like somebody who writes things to be published like online. People don't always read the whole thing. They just go with the headlines, and just the way that Deadline, Variety, and all of these other important, big, huge outlets were like covering the strike, they were not being very truthful, very direct with the people. If anything, they were being misleading at times, which kind of sucks. But oh well, what can you do about it? So yeah, like you said, like people like discussing film, not people, but companies like discussing film, like keeping it real, like very direct with their very short but meaningful headlines, was like very helpful for people to know what the hell was going on. This whole
Exactly.
how many months has it been? Like almost 5
since May, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah, it's all about just like ease of access for people, right? Like with the amount of access people have via social media, people get to have more informed opinions on these CEOs, like you mentioned, like Bob Iger and other CEOs who they used to be very unfamiliar with. So it's definitely shining a light on that for the better.
Mm-hmm. And for now, obviously the WGA got their deal, but like we said, SAG is still working on theirs, and there's talks of like labor unions across the country, like just in general, going on a strike. And the SAG strike for video game actors is very much a possibility now, which would be interesting. But yeah, just like support people working, pay money, pay people.
Yeah, I don't know why sometimes people get mad whenever something like this happens. Like, you're not gonna be the one paying the person who is striking for their work. Like,
yeah, and like what
companies,
what we saw with WGA, like it's done it all in the workers' favors. Like, why even go through all this trouble of fighting against it when we're gonna win anyways?
But yeah, I'm glad for them, happy for them. Hopefully SAG is next in a couple of weeks. I wouldn't be surprised if it's over maybe by the end of this month, October. So at least that's
hopefully, yeah.
I'm with you there. Yeah.
All right. So with that important update,
Ahsoka.
Very harsh segue to the big corporate show in the world right now. The latest War in the Stars, Ahsoka.
The laser sword show.
The laser swords. Yes. How do you want to start this off? Whole season finale. Yeah, go ahead.
As most of you probably know, I am a huge fan of Star Wars Rebels. It's one of my favorite shows of all time. Probably my favorite Star Wars project. And those characters mean so much to me. So saying that, I think Ahsoka as a series as a whole did a really great job of continuing those stories and just giving me the opportunity to see those characters again, even though it's not how I originally wanted to. I've accepted that, and I'll still take it because what we got was really cool, and for the most part, really compelling, and very interesting continuation of these arcs and these characters in the story.
Yeah. As somebody who hasn't seen the finale yet, I'll get to it after the stream. I can just say that I really miss the mystical shit that these shows by Filoni usually gave us. And even though I wouldn't say this is like a highlight between Clone Wars or Rebels, like it's still pretty good. And I've been very like engaged in the character arcs of Sabine and Ahsoka, which is something that I was very worried that I wasn't going to be because of the switch of animation to live action. And I'm just very glad that it worked. I'm very glad that this show is very much focused on character and not on the cameo of the week type of thing as you usually see with something like The Mandalorian, which that might be for you, it might not be for you.
And it has the fan service, but like once I am a fan being serviced, and there's also a point to it.
Yeah. So yeah, like overall, I really like the show. I really like where it's going so far of what I've seen. Some of these actors who bring these animated characters to life are very good, especially somebody who has blue eyes, who might be from Arrakis. But yeah, again, like the show is just really good, and I'm glad that Filoni is not the problem when it comes to live action shows. We know who's the problem now.
We do.
This is bullshit. Like they're both the problem. Filoni doesn't get a pass. He was
he does for me
of The Mandalorian. This isn't Favreau. It's Favreau's.
He didn't write them though.
There along the way, he's talking to Filoni along the way.
He wasn't the writer.
What are you doing? Of course, sure. But he wrote some episodes. He co-created the show. Why?
And his episodes were good.
Magical pass. You don't get a pass for Filoni because you're not on the credits. Like, what the fuck? Like, every interview leading into The Mandalorian was like, hey, Dave and I talked about this show for years. We talked to Kathleen Kennedy for years. You don't get a fucking pass.
Evan Harris, Lion King defender?
I mean, let's just be honest. Like, this is what I've been saying about Mando season 1, 2, and 3. I mean, 3 is mostly all Favreau there, but season 1 and 2, Filoni was right there along the way. Anyways,
they were good.
And the Filoni episode about season 2 sucked. It was awful. It was the Ahsoka episode. It sucked.
It was great.
Anyways, I've had fun with Ahsoka. That being said, I've had a lot of fun with Ahsoka. I think episodes 1 and 2 started off decently well. As a Rebels fan, I felt like there was a lot of things they had to get through. But overall, 1 and 2 were solid. And 3 was pretty not great. But 4, 5, and 6, I thought were
which one
really
was 3?
well done. 3 was they had a race to Cetos. Basically the flight episode where they were racing to go after the Eye of Sion. Shin was in her ship, and then they were racing to get to the planet, but nothing of substance happened there. But 4, 5, and 6 I thought were really well done, really well directed and written. I think, having seen the finale, which I did not like, but having seen the finale, I think Ahsoka as a whole did, for a show called Ahsoka, I can say in terms of positives, Ahsoka's arc, her internal arc, was concluded decently well. Not great. I think the writing still needs some work.
Well, we still have another season.
Don't say that. I hate that. I hate that.
That's how episodic television works.
No, I can name you 1,000 shows that can do episodic television well, and this isn't one of them. But yeah. I think her arc here, because from a season 1 arc, not a season 2 arc, a season 1 arc, I thought that was handled decently well. Could have been done better, because there was a conclusive, an attempt at a conclusive thing with her arc individually. Because she's gonna have a new arc in a different season. That's how TV works. Like, you can continue an arc, sure, but there has to be a thematic conclusion to some degree in a single season. Otherwise, what's the point of a single season television? Just keep on creating episodes for the season.
At least the thematic arcs concluded pretty well.
Exactly right. I think positive-wise, I think Ahsoka's arc was fine, and then her relationship with Sabine, that master apprentice role, which has been the big kind of thematic,
the big theme of the season.
The big theme of the season was served decently well. Again, I don't think it was great. I think there's a lot of discussions and dialogue that could have been mined there, but I think other time was wasted elsewhere. But I think there's a lot of discussions that either were seemingly cut, or just like rushed a little bit. And I hate saying that word rush because I don't usually like.
I mean, it's fair because I just hate how these series are stuck to an 8-episode structure, or with Marvel it's 6 episodes. Like, why not experiment like Andor did? And why do you have to do it for this Mando shows? Just keep it 8 episodes.
Agreed. There was a certain thing.
More.
Agreed. And there was a certain thing in this episode, at least now, where I'm like, man, this could have been really good if they had one more episode, or maybe 2.
I think Mando season 3 could have been great as 4 episodes.
Oh,
there wasn't much there to even work with. They finished the whole arc of the season in 2 episodes, so it was
maybe in hindsight, yeah,
chilled it for the rest of it.
That's another discussion. I don't know, because I don't want to get into that. That was not a great season of television, but yeah. Otherwise, though, there were, for a show called Ahsoka, they introduced a lot of other factors and other characters.
We knew they were do this, though.
I don't think they were served well at all. Baylan and Shin, having seen the finale, have been completely wasted in season 1. Completely.
I disagree.
Thrawn was Thrawn. And I said some hyperspace hype last week on my other Star Wars podcast, if people forget. But I said, Thrawn in episode 7, which I thought was not good either. I thought Thrawn was very much in character how Filoni wrote him in Rebels season 3, where he's here's the mission. We kind of messed up, but it's all part of the plan. I think that like that works in some cases, but I think in other cases it doesn't work very well, even in Rebels. And I don't think it worked really well here. I think Thrawn's main goal, and again, this is getting to spoilers, Edgar.
I don't care.
Okay. Thrawn's main goal, or the threat of Thrawn, was a big part about this season, the huge part. And I predicted last week, I'm like, okay, we know Thrawn's escaping, duh. But like, I wanted a Thrawn, like, he's back moment. And I referenced last week how, in terms of predictions, we could get like an Order of the Phoenix kind of moment where it's like, oh, he's back. Like, Voldemort is back. And that the threat of him is real and realized. This week, he's back. But he's just back.
It's not really the scene where he's back doesn't really have much to it.
There's nothing to it. I'm like, nobody knows he's back.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, to me, my problem with Thrawn is like, and this is a personal thing, so I might have people that disagree with me, but I've never found him interesting, at least how he's portrayed in Rebels or here. He's better in Rebels, but I've never been like, oh my god, it's Thrawn. Like, he's such a threat. It's like, he's just a guy. It's a blue guy.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. I think he's written better in the books, which I have not super read, but like he's a character where if you could read his internal thoughts and what he's thinking
It makes more sense. Yeah.
It makes more sense. This time it's just like, and last week was very funny. It was just like,
I haven't smarted you. Oh wait, I haven't. Oh wait, now I have.
It's really, it comes across very weird where he has to do.
I've lost, like, so I'm gonna claim that I've outsmarted you.
Right? It's like, well, hey, Thrawn, but like we lost Ahsoka. They reunited. What are we gonna do? Thrawn's like, well, you see,
we're actually one step ahead.
We're actually, because the cargo is almost done, and
he's trying to be a Jigsaw wannabe. Well, actually, I planned it all along.
I think John Kramer is a smarter person than Thrawn.
Yes, he is.
Anyways, I think
new poll.
I know, right? I think what's his name? Lars Mikkelsen was fantastic performance-wise as Thrawn. I think his voice comes across the screen very well. His presence
and the look of him is fine. Like, I don't know why people started fat shaming him or like being weird about
his look. What?
Did you not see that?
No.
It's horrible.
That's horrible. He's been stranded on an abandoned planet. Let the guy live.
What is that uniform?
I do want to say though, like so far, the highlight for me of this entire show has got to be Ray Stevenson because oh my god, can that man?
I would agree.
That man can monologue silly.
What episode
was
it? Was it episode 4? Right?
Which one?
Which one?
Wait, we had the two that really did monologues.
The one where she's talking about like the idea of the order.
6?
Yeah, 6. Yeah, right after they did 2.
The best episode of the season, I think, for me at least. And I think Ray Stevenson is great. I don't think a huge loss, and I don't think Dave knew what to do with these characters. I think he knew where to get them.
No, I think he knows, but he's had probably a multi-season plan for them, and obviously
you can have a multi-season plan by making something fulfilling in season 1.
I don't think it was. Okay, I agree with you there. It wasn't like fulfilling the season, but I could see like him just setting the stones, like setting the seeds for it. Like
you dangled the carrot in front of me way too long. Yeah. At the end of,
I think if we got like a bit more fulfilling in this last episode, I would be satisfied.
I would be completely
instead of just satisfied. A shot of him with spoilers again. Just a shot of him on the Mortis Fountains, which is interesting, but there's not really much there to like digest.
And I said this last week, and I'm like, should I care to theorize? And this is before the finale. I'm like, if the finale doesn't give me anything, I'm going to be pissed because it's like, why do I watch this show? Why do I even become intrigued by Baylan if I don't get any kind of conclusion for 2 years? Because the show is probably going to come back to it.
It's going to be more than that,
or maybe even more than that. So I'm like, it makes it even more unfulfilling. Where I'm just like, why?
That's not really something they controlled though, because with the strikes, with Ray Stevenson passing,
you introduced 2 characters. Do something with them. Like, they're a master and an apprentice. They mirror Ahsoka and Sabine. And at the end of episode 2, I theorized for the direction of season 1. I'm like, okay, great. We got a master and apprentice. We're going to get a parallel between how Sabine and Ahsoka's relationship progresses throughout season 1 compared to how Baylan and Shin's relationship progresses throughout season 1. Let's see how they both compare from antagonist and protagonist. And for Ahsoka and Sabine, I think that worked out decently well. For Baylan and Shin, I have no clue what kind of relationship they really truly have with one another. Like, and should I care? Because now they're in 2 different locations.
I have no idea what they did with Shin. Like, what are they doing to Shin? Like, why ever do that to the Raven or the Scavengers? Like, what is that about?
I don't care anymore. Baylan.
I thought it was like her going up to like the little people. I was like, oh, okay.
Me too. I was like, okay, we're getting something there. We're getting something.
We're still bad. We're still bad. Oh, it's over.
You're just talking to Marauders or something. Wow.
That was
I don't
weird
care.
choice.
But and then for Baylan, it's like he comes to the whole season. He's like, I feel this presence. Hey, Baylan, what do you want to do? What is it that you do here? And he's like,
I mean, it's interesting have it being Mortis, but like I wanted a little bit more.
Sure, exactly. Just give me it this season. So it's like I want a new beginning. So then we get to Peridia, and he talks about this new beginning. He wants to break the cycle, and I theorize his connection to Ahsoka in terms
if this
of
fit were 10 episodes, I think it would have been perfect.
Peak. I think so too. Yeah. Because I think his connection to Ahsoka, where Ahsoka's
I think the pacing was like fucking great until last episode.
Yeah, I think last episode really turned it down for me. Where I was like, uh-oh. As we head into the finale, I was like,
I still liked it. I was still having a blast. But like here's the thing with me. I'm not really fair to critique the show because I am a huge Rebels fan and like I am loving seeing these characters again. And everything they're doing on screen is incredible. And I love the mystical weird force shit, and that's just my favorite type of Star Wars. So I'm still into the show. I still fucking love the show so much, but like so I'm not really fair to critique it, but I do have some critiques.
Yeah, and again, I think Ahsoka's arc was based in fear, right? Like as we saw in episode 5, where she was basically like, I fear the direction that my master Anakin placed on me in terms of like this vision of death and destruction that might follow in my wake if I continue this mentorship of Sabine. This wasn't really like textually laid out to us. It's a lot of subtext, but I think it was pretty visually laid out for us via what Anakin was teaching her in episode 5. Like this idea of fear.
You do with Anakin and having that wrap up with the last scene, I think it's beautiful.
Was great. And I think she's dealing with like Anakin taught her to be a soldier. Which was not great, but it was mandatory for the Clone Wars, and that was a very bad thing for the Jedi Order in general. We know that. But for Ahsoka personally, I think she had this fear cripple her direction for her future, which I think was bad, and it ruined her relationship to Sabine as well. And we even learned in this episode that fear extended to like the fear that Sabine could also lead to death and destruction as well. But anyways, I figured like, okay, Baylan has a similar fear dynamic where he's like, I feared what happened with the Jedi Order and its failure that kind of like scarred him in the past. And he doesn't want to go through that pain and loss again. So he wants to create a new beginning where, as he tells Shin, he can create something that is everlasting, not fleeting like the Jedi Order. Because he doesn't want to feel that sense of powerlessness again. And these are all my thoughts. And I was like, okay, so you go to Peridia with a new plan. You want to do something new, something different. I'm like, okay, but it still felt ominous. I'm like, okay, you're on a Dathomir planet, which is pretty anti-Jedi. But
it's interesting.
Power. So I'm like, I felt like, oh, he's walking toward a trap. There were so many death flags in episode 6 where he's like talking about this new beginning, talking about this sense of power. And meanwhile, Shin and everybody else is like, this planet's not good. The planet gave off bad vibes, but we know, as we see with the Noti, like they're not all bad there on that planet. But anyways,
it just felt like barren, and it's like another thing about the show is that like it had. Wait, I don't know if it promised it, but like had these expectations of this brand new galaxy, and it just looked like another bland planet. Ireland, yeah,
it's Ireland. Which again, that's like the limits of.
It's interesting. Like, it's not. Shows. I won't say I hate that idea. It's just like it's interesting to only show that planet.
Agreed. I think I was expecting a desolate area, I think the outside looks cool, like the elephant graveyard per se.
I just hope we in season 2 or whatever we get going forward, we see more of this galaxy, and I hope it's a bit more diverse than the galaxy we know already.
I wouldn't put my hopes on that.
I mean, there's stuff there, so
I hope for season 2 Disney stops stealing ideas from other people's scripts.
Me too, man. How disrespectful,
right?
But yeah, so like I think Baylan and Shin were primed to be like dual protagonists in a way, at least for me, especially in episode 1 and 2, because they were there a lot in episode 1 and 2. I'm like, okay, this season starts with them.
Yeah, like they were. Then we barely get anything, and
then we barely get any. I'm like, there's a master and apprentice relationship about characters that we don't know before. With Shin, how was she raised post Jedi Order? She has no idea. She thought she was close to Ezra.
I would love to see a scene between her and Ezra, because they're so similar. But we
she compared herself to Ezra. Baylan counters.
We still could. Again, we still could. But
of course, yeah. And Baylan counters saying like, "I created you to be something more," and then that's it. And I'm like, continue talking. And I think this is the thing that this show really struggled with, where it's like, I think Andor did really well, where it's just like, I want two characters just talking. Like the season's building up to Ezra and Sabine reuniting. That's her psychological arc in the first couple episodes, where like she was facing this guilt over her planet, this guilt facing failing to find Ezra. She finally finds Ezra. And I'm like, okay, great. I love Ezra. One of my all-time top 5 Star Wars characters, Ezra Bridger. And we get to episode 6, or no, we get to episode 7, whenever they find him, I forget now. And a lot of the dialogue was just pushed aside. We get this caravan scene where they're talking.
That was a weird choice. That was weird.
she's just like, so that's what's been happening to the Empire? I missed a lot. And then, so you've been a Jedi? Okay, cool. Like, Ezra, I missed you since 2017. What have you been up to? What's been happening? Like,
2017.
Like even my bias for like wanting to know.
I mean, we know though. He's just been with these little dudes, just chilling.
Like, tell Sabine that, because Sabine was like worried. Sabine was like, I have like, she had all this guilt and emotion and this sense of failure with not finding him. Can you talk to him about how like, hey, Ezra, you leaving really like kind of messed me up. Like I was really struggling without you.
I get what you're saying.
Like, can we talk about that stress, that dilemma there? But they come back and they're just like, hey, cool.
As
hey,
much
Sabine.
as I loved like seeing these characters interacted in, and I think that Mon Esfandi is a fucking perfect Ezra Bridger. Incredible casting choice. I get what you're saying though. Like there's not as much depth in their conversations once they meet up, which I would love to see.
That's exactly
what we get in Rebels. Yeah. Like there wasn't. It is kind of like seemed a bit glossed over, and like and very casual. Which like I don't know. There's
question.
A lot of stuff in this season they were trying to do, which I get. Question. But like,
yeah.
As somebody who hasn't seen the finale, but again, I don't really care about spoilers for this show at least. You guys are talking about like intimate conversations between the characters. Is there ever a moment, if they come back in the finale to the regular galaxy or whatever, is there ever a moment of Ezra having that, like going through like that thought process of like, oh shit, like my mentor had a child, or no?
But guess what?
Season 2.
In season 2, episode 1, 100% we're getting that. So
I mean, there is a bit more of that intimacy at the beginning of this finale, but still, like, not as much. Like, they're not discussing what I want them to discuss.
Right?
Yeah.
I was scratching my head because there's a great scene between Ezra and Huyang mentioning Kanan.
Yeah.
Great. I felt like that scene was all for Rebels fans. If you weren't a Rebels fan, that meant nothing. Anyways,
it was fucking cool though.
I was like, this is a great scene. And then Sabine's there. I'm like, okay, great.
But she's dips.
Are you just talk to each other, please? By the way, it felt very romance coded this episode compared to the other ones.
I don't agree with that. I don't see it.
I think there were so many longing glances, but okay, whatever. Anyways, but then they do give us some good Sabine and Ahsoka stuff, which again I think was the main part of the season, which I think they did focus on well on. But your goal was to find Ezra. Talk to him.
Do you think part of the problem is the fact that the show is trying not to force people to do homework with Rebels, and it's just trying to like.
It's already. It doesn't care about that already, though. That's the thing.
And that's the thing. The beauty
On
of
the first
this
episode, they don't care.
Yeah, by the way, they don't care. But the beauty of this upcoming talk, or talk that never was, is like it didn't have to be Rebels coded at all. Just like, hey, because even we don't know what
you
happened.
Leaving like made me depressed as fuck.
Yeah, just talk about her psychological state a little bit.
And then my family died, and I had no one to go to, and then Ahsoka left me.
I referenced this last week, where I'm like, there's a great scene in Andor when he comes back to his home planet, and he talks back to Ariana's character. I forget her name, Bix, right? Something like that. Mm-hmm. And it's at nighttime, and she's pissed at him for leaving and all the destruction he caused after episode 3. And I'm like, this is a very down-to-earth conversation. She's pissed at him, and Andor doesn't really know why. He's kind of disconnected in a little bit there. I'm like, just have a great down-to-earth talking scene. Just talk
as much as I love Filoni and his like thematic work, his dialogue writing isn't the best. Like, we can agree with that, at least live action wise.
I agree. I think because Filoni has these great ideas, and I think he's cooking. He's cooking big time. He's cooking big time.
He has some trouble executing like dialogue wise.
And the carrot has been in front of my face this whole season, and I'm just like reaching for it, and I'm just thinking like
the big overall ideas of the series like are fucking really cool Star Wars.
Exactly. There's so many cool Star Wars War Machine Worlds elements.
And as much as shit we're giving this finale, like I still had a blast watching it, and the action is incredible, and it's just cool seeing those characters do what they do in this finale. And it's when fucking spoilers, Edgar, when fucking Morgan gets that cool ass sword. Awesome. Dude, that was so cool.
Oh, I like swords.
I like swords too.
The green flames on the sword, Edgar. It's like the witch magic,
like the Game of Thrones, like when they
yeah.
Big time. Yeah. There was some great fight action choreography, which I think this show had really excelled at compared to the other shows. Which I've never really done. So I never really done, especially like with Boba Fett. Yeah, the Kenobi, Boba Fett, Mando shows. Like I never really digested the action that much. They were fine. I think the best case of action in Mando was like the season 2 premiere. That was really cool.
Yeah.
But otherwise,
it had that sense of scale that was like really unique to that episode.
Exactly. Otherwise, I'm just like, that's fine. But yeah, I think you're right, Josh. Like the overall picture was okay.
And I think they did a great job like adapting these characters, translating these characters into live action for the most part.
For the most part,
great. For the most part, I still think Rosario Dawson is a bit of the weakest link here.
I can't tell if it's the direction or if it's Rosario. Or
in the last 2 episodes, she kind of opened up a bit, but there's still that like restraint there.
Even a lot of the action,
it's not the character. I think it's the performance.
Sure, yeah. I think it's the performance which isn't portraying what the character is trying to portray. I think
she has some moments of levity, but like I don't know.
Like there wasn't, even with Natasha early on, I'm like, there wasn't a lot of like expressions from a lot of the characters outside of Ray, which made Ray Stevenson so.
And Iman Esfandi too, as Ezra. Like he nailed it.
He just exudes Ezra. Yeah. I think what made Baylan and Shin so unique for me was like their characters are interesting, but even their performances were one step above everybody else. It looked like where their expression,
especially Ray Stevenson,
which made him so noticeably good, and people caught on to it because he's like, oh, he's acting differently. He's on a different show.
It's such a tragic.
He understood the assignment.
He understood the assignment, right? Which, granted, the assignment was probably 1 page for him, but it was like he understood it, and he did it very well. Because given the finale, they're probably like, hey, there's this thing. We don't know what yet.
That scene, the finale, his look though, like him just standing there, it's cool.
I immediately was like, they rings of power.
That fur coat he's wearing.
Cool. Yeah, great. Yeah. But I was like, this is big Rings of Power energy. Whereas like the whole season's dangling this.
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know.
You never watched Rings of Power?
He never finished it.
I watched the first 2 episodes.
Wow. Anyways, spoiler alert for a show that ended last year. But it was like this whole Sauron carrot thing. Sauron's coming back. We all knew who it was. And then the end of the season happens, and he stands in front of a volcano. Like, are you serious? That's it? And then this show is the same thing, where it's just like Baylan has been in front of our eyes this whole season with something interesting cooking beneath the surface, and it just led to nothing. But again, I think those were my big weaknesses. I think it felt very.
I think a lot of the emotional moments in this finale worked for me, like especially between
Like what?
Sabine and Ahsoka. That little last moment with Anakin was great.
Yeah. I mean, I don't
It
know.
worked for me. It worked for me.
I think
I
on
wouldn't
the
know.
page, on the page, yes. I'm like, okay, I see what you're saying. I just don't think the emotions were conveyed to me where I'm just like, I was like
got me.
super satisfied. I was like, oh, okay, I can see how it ended. Her
Spoilers. Spoilers. The Ezra Hera moment got me, even though they cut away for some reason.
What?
I don't know why.
What moment? It's not a moment. It's not a moment. It's
For
like,
me, it is.
hey,
It
Hera.
got me. Just seeing them on
Credits.
screen.
What?
It's good.
He should have been like, "Hey, mom." That'd have been better. Again, I think Sabine and Ahsoka finally talking at the end there, where she's like, "I will always be with you." I was like, "Okay, I can see." Again, I wish there was more depth there, but I see where that could be a solid ending to their current their current stage of their relationship. So
And with like rumors of the standalone Ezra series, like it's
What?
probably you haven't heard that?
No.
There's like a leaked a while ago, or a rumor.
Oh
a while ago.
wow. Man,
This
that's
track can
nice.
change anything. Hopefully not.
Yeah, that's
Just-
true. But
Let's
like,
keep it in one show.
Just keep it in one show.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, it might be too much for Filoni to handle. Because if he can't handle,
like
four
what happened to this show?
characters- yeah, if he can't handle,
I wouldn't mind if they
Ezra's-
split him up a bit.
Yeah, at this point, split it up. I think give Balin and Shin their own. They should have had their own.
I mean,
show
they
before
can't
season
really
one,
do
though.
that anymore. But
Yeah, they're so
unfortunately-
tied. Yeah, they're so tied to the show now. But like,
Well, also like
Balin-
because of Ray Stevenson.
Oh, you're right.
Unfortunately,
But, I mean, we're gonna get him. He has to be recast now, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, I
so
don't
we
know how
gotta
they
start
do
thinking
it.
about-
I
we gotta start
fucking hope
thinking
it's
about
not
that.
CGI deep fake bullshit.
100% you can't.
No.
So they gotta pull a. I don't know. Somebody call. Who's the father in? Who's the father in Game of Thrones season 1? What's his name? Sean.
What's the
Sean Bean.
guy
Sean
that
Bean.
um
I think Sean Bean
Ed
would be
Skrein
great.
played that was recast in a later season?
Who?
What?
Michael
Ed
Keesman.
Skrein? Oh, Michael Weissman.
He was Ed Skrein in the first season or two. Then he got recast.
What show?
Game of Thrones.
Oh,
The one that did, Danny Futz.
Oh, the original version. That guy, that actor, or the new one?
Dario, the guy that plays Dario.
Yeah, he was originally Ed Skrein. Then he got recast.
So do you want Ed Skrein or the new guy?
No, I'm saying they do something like that where it's the
Oh.
same character, but they recast.
Be
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry.
That's what I'm saying. He's getting recast. Yeah, but
Unfortunately, because
which is
I think
unfortunate. 'Cause I
Ray
think there's so much
Stevenson
potential.
was the
for
highlight
character.
for all of us.
Big time. Yeah, he was great. I think there's so much potential for his character. It's like the thing I'm upset about is that like there was so much to be mined from him and Balin's relationship, and given the finale, they seem to be on different paths. But I don't know what their original path was. You know what I mean? Like, what was so intriguing about their original path, but now they're on two different paths? Are they going to reunite?
Yeah.
How
I
does
don't know.
Shin feel about him?
I have no
walking
idea what
out
they're doing
on
with
her?
Shin in this
Like,
finale. Like,
I'm
I don't know
just-
where she's going.
If you're going to include these characters,
I mean, I did choose like a lost soul now, but like, why go back there? Why go to those like just, random dudes?
like, what were your thoughts about? Hey, Balin, Thrawn doesn't trust you.
I guess
What are
like
your
it's
thoughts on
very
that?
much like she's looking for power and she could control those dunes. I guess maybe I don't know.
I can't even tell what she's internally thinking because the show has given me no direction either way.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just those. That was just very disappointing. 'Cause I think those were two, for me at least, just for me, from my experience, just very interesting characters. Because I had faith that Ezra or Ahsoka and Sabine's arcs would be fulfilled decently well. And again, I think they were on the page. I think
think the stuff that needed to like very baseline, like
yeah,
I think it worked for me.
Mhm.
But we're like trying to like wavered a bit where it was like Shin and Balin
Shin and Balin.
and Ezra Sabine.
Exactly. Ezra and
Dynamic.
Sabine. And then how do you feel about Thrawn? Because I think Thrawn's presence was the big.
He's just
picture
being
of the
Thrawn.
finale.
Like I'm fine with it. He's not
being
like
Thrawn.
he's pitched at this big menacing big bad of Star Wars, but he's just a dude. But I think he could get there.
I think he definitely can get there, but I would have liked to see some because I think the whole New Republic angle, and I didn't like the whole New Republic tribunal scene last week.
Really?
Because I felt like, what was the goal there? To show that
that they're
they
not
still don't
they're not the.
We knew that from the first.
Again.
We knew that from episode 3 when they gave us the whole hey, you shouldn't be on this mission.
There's some corruption there still.
Well, we kind of knew that already. I didn't feel like it added anything. I think we knew Ziona wasn't on board with the mission, and here he is once again, not being on board with the mission.
And he was told to see more of it though, just to show because we haven't seen much of the Republic at all in live action.
That's true. Which was
So it's nice to see more of it and to see more of those seeds being planted for where we get in Force Awakens, which is I'm sure one of the big plans for this whole Filoniverse is to explain the sequels like they did with the prequels, Clone Wars. I don't think you need that much explaining, but that's probably what they think.
I guess.
I mean, politics-wise, I do think that they could do more, which I think is what they're going to do. Because in Force Awakens, we don't really care that much about the New Republic. And we're starting to care. I think at least I'm starting to care a bit more.
It's telling us that we shouldn't care about the New Republic. They suck. They have awful costumes.
Them, not Hera,
awful. Yeah, they're fine. I
think the one of the goals is to get there though, and they're trying.
I just felt like the whole scene in episode 7 could have been an email. Because even Mothma was like, "Hey, do you really think Thrawn could return?" I'm like, "You already asked me this question already, and I said yes." Like, what are you talking about? Like, I went to Cetos because I knew he was the threat of him was real. And then you're gonna ask me the same question, Mon Mothma? Come on, we know yes. Buckle up the hatches, he's coming. Come on, what are you showing me? So,
I mean, from her point of view, like, I just, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess she was still in the dark. But anyways,
overall, to wrap up on this show.
This is too long.
I think as a whole, it did its job. It was better than I thought it would be.
Yeah, for me, it's been very up and down. I think overall, I think it's a very solid show. I don't know how I would rate it yet. I'm still fresh. I'll probably get my full rating over the weekend or tomorrow when I spend more time talking about it. But I think overall, it was a very fun show. I definitely put it.
It's very much a step up from the other Disney Plus shows besides Andor, right?
For sure,
filmmaking wise and writing wise, and everything wise.
Yeah,
for me, it's better than Mando.
Sure,
it's better than Boba Fett. It's better than Kenobi.
Yeah, I'm still mixed on it, but I think there were some episodes that cooked. Like episode 4 was great.
Yeah,
5 was great. 6 was great when they get to Peridia.
I think that I like the first 2 a lot too.
Yeah,
they were a bit slower in pace, but I still love them.
They were slower in pace, and as a Rebels fan, I felt like I already knew a lot of these feelings and thoughts the characters had. But
it was nice
overall, it did its job setting up what I thought was like the main theme of Sabine and Ahsoka.
And like going into this season, I was very worried about Sabine being force sensitive and that whole aspect of it. But I think they delivered pretty well on like succeeding that like aspect to her character. That addition, I think, ended up pretty well.
For sure. I think there's some depth that was still missing from Sabine, but I think her...
But there's a lot more depth than I thought there would be in some aspects.
Agreed. I mean, I liked...
The World Between Worlds, I think, was very much... It went way better than I thought it would.
Yeah.
Being, like, driven by themes and, like, character work, not just, like, fan service.
Yeah, I was nervous about that episode. I was like, how is Filoni really going to do that compared to how he did World Between Worlds in Rebels? But I think it worked really well.
Yeah.
I think it really fit Ahsoka's arc. It was a bit too subtextual, but I understood what they were going for with Anakin and her, the idea of being a child soldier and her relationship with fear and destruction. And her saying, like, I choose to live. It was great. So, yeah, I think it had very high highs, but I think it petered out a little bit the last 2 episodes. But overall, solid show.
Yeah.
A little mixed on it, but overall, yeah.
Do you have any last thoughts on Ahsoka?
My last thoughts is that, again, haven't seen the finale, but so far I really like the show. I agree with some of you guys' criticisms. But at the end of the day, like, for me with Star Wars, at least recently, I just want to have fun. And with somebody like the Book of Boba Fett or The Mandalorian, like the last couple of seasons of The Mandalorian, I was just like very like it didn't feel like I was getting anything from those shows, and at least I'm getting a few things from Ahsoka.
I think you're gonna have a lot of fun with this finale, Edgar.
Yeah. So again, I really like the show. I'll see where it goes. I'll see the finale later tonight, probably, or tomorrow morning. But yeah. And you want to know something that this show has in common with another thing?
What?
This show has space whales, and the Meg has a giant octopus.
All right, we're going to the Med too, I guess, huh? Yeah, I haven't seen this, so it's all you guys.
Evan, Jason Statham can breathe 25,000 feet underwater for some reason, without equipment.
That was easily the most dumb scene I've seen in all year long. You can't sell me on this guy standing, swimming, whatever, underwater over thousands of pressure because he's holding his nose or something. It was weird.
Let me tell it to you, Josh. So there's this entire sequence in the movie where they go to the trench. They're walking on the trench with these mech suits that are like Iron Man suits, essentially. And a person in the team, their helmet kind of breaks, and it's slowly breaking, but it's still like they're still alive.
So a trope we've seen.
Yeah. So that entire sequence is like the building tension of the suit is going to eventually explode, and it does. And once it explodes, obviously the person dies because they're 25,000 feet underwater. So
too soon, Edgar. Too soon.
Maybe like 10 minutes later, Jason Statham is forced to go outside because they were trying to go to this submarine that's like underneath or whatever. And like at some point, his character is forced to go swim outside without a suit, and he can just do it because he's
of course he's Jason Statham. Yeah, of course.
It was wild. I was pretty. You go into a Meg movie expecting certain things. Sharks,
monsters
to be a thing. Monsters. Why did the first hour of this movie hardly any sharks, hardly any mechs? I'm like, what was the point of this? It turned
like,
into like
it's just like company politics, essentially.
BS company politics. Very predictable villains, by the way. There was somebody I was like, oh, you're a villain. Oh, you're a villain. It was, but then like, oh, there's crazy surprise reveals. BS. We saw it coming a mile away. And then there's hardly any kind of mega action. Like everything you see in the trailers is the last 30 minutes of the movie.
I love how when they find out that there's more mechs, their first thought is, let's kill them. Let's kill these like super fragile, like rare creatures.
Way of water type beat.
Way of water. I thought Meg 2 was just, it was let down by like goofy.
It was directed by like it was Ben Wheatley, right?
Yeah. I think same guy from the first one, I think.
No, it was a different guy. He did
Free Fire.
Yeah. Which I think was pretty good. Yeah.
What was Free Fire?
It was that weird one location like action movie with Army Hammer.
Cillian Murphy.
Oh, you like it?
I hated that movie. I thought it was a waste. Cool. I thought it was like it was all like style and no substance.
It was very much an average, like 3.5 stars. I think for me it was pretty good, pretty solid.
3. Maybe even less. I walked out of that movie like, what did I even watch? Like, it was just characters cussing and being shot up 20,000 times, and then just being like, "Ow, fuck, oh shit, what, fuck." Oh.
Very much Deadpool humor.
Yeah, I just thought like I didn't care about anything that was happening. I didn't know if I should. But same thing with this movie. Where I was like, I don't care about any of these characters, any of these relationships. The movie doesn't care. And I'm not supposed. I didn't really care about in the first one either. But I just want to see Jason Statham fight mechs, and he didn't do that until the last 30 minutes. And even then, it was dominated by a giant squid monster instead of mechs. And I'm like, okay, this is cool.
And little lizards, like dinosaurs, shit.
Weird dinosaur, dog, hulkling lizards. I was like, what is happening? What in the angry is going on here? But it was fine. It was a bit of a step down from the very fun first one. Like, I just wanted to sit back and be like, let's see Jason Statham punch a shark. And I got that, but it was too little too late for me.
Yeah, he kills the Meg with what, like a sword or something, and he somehow can like handle the weight of the Meg.
It was weird. Yeah, I mean, he does his job at the
He
very
can do it
end.
all,
He
people.
can do it all. Yeah. It was just egregiously mediocre. So yeah, that was the Meg 2. Yeah, there was a lot of movies I saw in August here. Let me look at my list here. Let's go through it. I've been teasing Last Voyage of the Demeter. You want to talk about that?
For somebody who doesn't like
There.
that movie, you've been talking about it a lot.
I had, expectations for it. It looked fun. It looked solid. And it wasn't. It was boring. Very boring. I think the pacing was ridiculously slow. And I think I liked the historical horror of it all. It felt very lived in. I liked the atmosphere. They had some spooky vibes, but people are just getting killed off one by one. And
Spoilers. I don't care.
Okay.
I don't care.
It's a monster movie. It's like, hey, people get killed off one by one in Alien too. Spoiler alert for Alien. And I don't know. It felt very slow, and I didn't really digest the horror of it all. And even the climax wasn't really that fulfilling because the build up to it wasn't built up very well.
I love how the plan in the movie is, let's try to kill this thing by keeping him outside during the sun. And the plan, they start doing it at night. Just do it during the day. Do it during the day.
Is it shot well at least?
I think it's shot well. I think the production value of the movie is really well. Like they actually build the
once
ship.
it comes to streaming or whatever, I want to check it out still.
And also the acting, it's pretty solid for the most part.
It's Davos, right?
Yeah, Liam Cunningham, David Desmashian, who
that's his name, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. And David, who I really hope someday Christopher Nolan does the Cillian Murphy treat on him, because like, my God, that man, just make him a leading man for
I'm with you.
Project.
David Desmashian.
Oh yeah, totally.
Same thing with Denis Villeneuve, because he's been in a lot of Denis projects as well. He was the best part of what was that bullshit? Boogeyman. He was the best part of Boogeyman this year. I thought he was great.
You didn't like Boogeyman?
It was okay.
That was solid.
Remember, I talked about it. I was like, the Boogeyman finale was very lackluster, and just the horror.
Yeah, third act was kind of weird.
Yeah. His sequence is by far the best, and it's probably the best in the Boogeyman because that's the short film. That's where the short film ends, and the rest is just kind of like filler.
I think some of the thematic work in Boogeyman works for me, but like
I like the movie. It's fine.
Yeah,
I wanted to connect with her psychology a bit more than I was. And they have those cliche bullies, which I just hate in movies. I hate cliche bullies. They're the worst. They're the worst. And I'm not supposed to care about them, obviously, but when I see it in a movie, it's grating. So yeah, Last Voyage of Demeter, I think, again, the atmosphere worked. I just think a lot of the like horror vibes and the build up overall of like his Dracula's present. Like Dracula's on our ship, and I didn't really feel the terror 100% like I wanted.
At first, like I thought that the way that they were approaching Dracula was really cool. Like it was like this like Gollum kind of like creature, but he never evolves. He kind of just stays like that. And even at the end of the movie, when the only survivor is Corey Hawkins' character,
he's in that.
He's in that. He's the main guy.
Main character.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Like during that entire like what do you call it, epilogue or whatever. Like
awful epilogue. Awful.
I
was like, are you epiloguing me in 2023?
Set up for a sequel?
What are you doing?
Set up for a sequel?
Kind of.
I really think they would do a sequel?
Shocked. I was like, what are you doing right now? Are you think you're gonna make money for a sequel?
But like the funny thing about it is that you know how Dracula, the story is like, he usually he can take into like a human form, right? To like disguise himself during like the public, when he's like in a public setting or whatever. But he's just like Dracula, like the creature Dracula's dressed with a hat. And it's just so fucking funny.
It was so weird. I hate when movies do this. What movie was it? Oh, have you guys seen that weird horror movie from last year called The Invitation? It was just weird. Like they were trying to do like
Game of Thrones girl.
Yeah,
yeah. I've seen
it. Like they did the same thing at the end of that movie. Where it's like, oh, I'm gonna go after them now. Great. Yeah. I'm like, stop teasing me for a movie that just.
I mean, the one that did it best was Quiet Place.
Quiet Place killed it.
Yeah,
killed it.
That's a great ending. Great.
I was hyped. I was let's go.
And that works even if they didn't do a sequel too.
Yeah.
Right? Because the themes they ended. They're like, okay, the family dynamic, we got it. It was good. I would have been happy with no sequel. I was like, okay, cool, we're good.
Exactly. Yeah.
They made one and it was great. And
it was better than the first for me.
Agreed. But yeah, the movie like Last Voyage of Demeter and The Invitation, I'm like, just stop it. Just end the movie. Just end it. Anyways,
it's kind of sad.
I only loved. Oh wait, are you done on?
Oh, I was gonna say that I really like the director's work in Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, which I'm kind of bummed that this movie didn't.
Great movie.
Great movie. It's a really good movie. It's a fun movie.
I didn't watch it.
So it's kind of a letdown that this movie just was. Like, I don't think it's bad. Like, I think it's really well done. It's really well directed. It's just like kind of nothing.
Yeah, it left me feeling hollow, especially the ending. I was like, there could have been so much more here, especially with the Dracula monster movie.
Yeah, but go ahead, Josh.
I didn't watch much in August. Mostly just rewatches. Rewatched Asteroid City, Oppenheimer, and I watched Oppenheimer and I'm at 70mm. And it was so.
How was it?
It was no words. Incredible.
Yeah.
And I did watch where is it?
Blue Beetle, Bottoms.
I did watch that in September. I watched the Meyerowitz stories for the first time. The Baumbach movie.
Oh, I never watched that.
With Adam Sandler, Ben Stiller, Dustin Hoffman. It's good. It's a Noah Baumbach movie, but it's really good, and Adam Sandler is incredible in it.
Is that the movie with anthology stories? Correct.
It's not really anthology; it's just like chapters. But yeah,
okay,
it's very good.
I always wanted to watch that. I'm a huge Baumbach fan. I love the Squid and the Whale as well. Yeah, he's good. He's good.
I did rewatch Rebels and August, which is why I didn't really watch myself. So I was focused on that before Ahsoka.
All the Rebels.
All Rebels, yeah.
Any notable?
Hard to say. Like it's great. It's one of my favorites. I did watch TV wise. We talked about this a little bit. Edgar, Only Murders in the Building season 3 started.
Haven't seen the last episode either, but
we've seen most of it, right?
Yeah,
I won't say anything. Won't say anything.
We won't spoil it, but what I can say, give me one second.
We can talk about it right now, real quick.
Yeah, sure. Say it.
Let me just start by saying that I really like this season so far. I like it much better than season 2, and the reason why I like it is because it's a different kind of murder mystery. I felt like season 2 was a little bit too similar to season 1 in a sense, at least from what I remember.
I think season 2 did season 1 better, in my opinion.
Yeah, but I really like the change of pace, the kind of mystery that they do in season 3 it's definitely different from the last 2 seasons, which I like a lot.
Yeah.
And Meryl Streep, my God, that woman.
She keeps upping herself.
This
is one of her best performances.
Well,
wow.
Again, I don't want to.
That good.
I don't want to go into spoilers too much, but was it last week's episode when she's singing on stage?
I mean, it's yeah.
Yeah. That entire sequence, great.
And just the whole Broadway theme of this season really worked well for me and really changed the vibe. And Martin Short does his best he's ever been in the series. He's so good.
Yeah. What was that movie that came out? I think it was last year or the year before.
See How They Run. I'm same. See How They Run. Are you talking about
the one about the movie and the play or whatever? And there's a murder. Yeah. This
does that so much better than that movie.
Yeah, much better. Yeah.
The How They Run was it had so much potential.
So mid.
Yeah, this show basically.
I think the ending of that movie was great. It was a fun ending, but the movie as a whole was pretty boring, honestly.
Yeah. I don't even remember finishing that, to be honest.
No, I saw it in theaters.
Me too. So you guys are saying her Meryl Streep's cameo, or not cameo, but just supporting role is better than how she was in that. What was that one HBO show that she was in?
Big Little Lies.
Little Lies, yeah.
Little Lies. I hated her performance there. She was awful.
She was great in it, but she's incredible
Just
here.
screaming and just arguing with people the whole season. I'm like, what are you doing?
It's probably, I don't know if I'd say this, but is it the best I've seen Paul Rudd also?
Wow.
Like, he's fucking great in it.
I don't know about
you haven't seen the finale, but he's incredible in the finale.
Yeah, but even the last episode that I
No,
saw,
not finale, the episode 7. I'll just say the cookie monologue.
Oh, okay, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Incredible.
Really? He's better than Ant-Man 3?
Yeah. I mean, by a smidge.
Okay. Okay.
I think I Love You Man's probably my favorite Paul Rudd performance.
He's great in that. Yeah.
But
Clueless, he's great.
Clueless. I
haven't seen Clueless. I need to see that.
Love that movie.
Mm.
But okay, you guys getting me excited for this. Like, how many episodes are there?
10 each season.
Has it been 10 weeks?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, time flies.
It's crazy.
What? Holy shit, I'm behind. I was like, oh, I'm just a few episodes behind. Shit. I'm so God.
I think the mystery is pretty good, pretty fun. It is like probably the most predictable of the 3, I think, and where it ends up. But there's some still fun twists in there.
I also don't think that this season in particular is trying to go for like the shock value of the reveal.
Not as much as the first 2.
Yeah. Which is again a nice change of.
I really love the finale of season 2 and how that twists and turns.
Mm-hmm.
Me too.
Yeah.
Anyway,
but it's really fun.
That's cool. Okay, I can't wait to watch.
Yeah.
Want to talk about
Steve Martin? Before that, the Steve Martin song in season 3, incredible.
Oh yeah, the baby song. Oh,
yeah.
Great.
Yeah, these guys should go to Gran Turismo. So I haven't seen it myself.
From gamer to racer.
Gamer to racist.
Speaking of extremely mid, this was fine. I think I came in expecting not a great movie because I'm not a fan of
Neil Blomkamp.
Chappie is one of the all-time worst movies ever. It's trash.
I've never seen a Neil Blomkamp movie.
You're not missing out. I mean, District 9 is great.
I think it's great. I think it's a masterpiece.
Wasn't it a Best Picture nominee?
It was a Best Picture nominee.
Really?
That's wild.
Wait,
That's
what?
Wild.
Like, imagine being like a first-time director and your first movie gets nominated for Best Picture, and I think Best Original Screenplay.
Wow,
Yeah,
what year?
2009.
Yeah, 2009.
That was before the 10 nominees. Wow.
No. That was it was nominated on 2010, but the movie came out in 2009. I think.
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah. Just 2000. Was it the first year they did 10?
Yeah, that was the first year.
Yeah, it was after Dark Knight.
The Dark Knight. Yeah.
That's right.
But anyway, Gran Turismo. I think I like the movie better than you, but I also agree that I don't think it's like this great thing. There's some really cool like drone shots, but like every time that there was like a drone shot, like I thought it was like on my mind, I'm like, okay, this is pretty cool, but they don't hold on to them as much.
Thank you, Edgar. I also in the same way because I felt so much praise before going in was like the way they filmed the racing was so unique and visceral. And I get to it, I'm like it's good. Cut to him in a car again. It's good. Cut to him in the car again. I'm like,
yeah.
I heard the camera work is good at least though. Was it?
Like it's good, but they don't hold on to the shots as much. Like for example, like as a joke, I just wrote on my Letterboxd review like Michael Bay would have held those drone shots longer, and like for example in those drone shots.
Remember Ambulance?
Like they're fucking cool. They're such cool fucking
so
shots. And they kind of try to do that with the race sequences in this movie, but again, every time it's about to get good, they just cut away back to the inside of the car, and it's again kind of like generic.
Yeah, because I think I'm with you. I think the overall filmmaking it had moments of like being very cool, very well directed in certain racing sequences, but then those are few and far between compared to a lot of the human scenes. I think Blomkamp still struggles with creating compelling, interesting character arcs and interesting characters. Like the racing scenes can be as cool as they want to be, but we need a reason to care about this kid's journey. and I just didn't really vibe with the whole process, the whole journey for him to get there. It felt very cookie cutter. It felt very like play by numbers, like rise from the ashes.
Gamer to racist.
There is a scene that I didn't. There is a scene that I didn't expect because I didn't really know about the real story. That I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. How they're gonna like solve this, and then it kind of just like move away from it real quick.
I think we're both talking about the same thing. There's an event. So I think the first two
acts... spoil. I don't give a shit.
Okay, cool.
So this kid kills somebody.
Spoilers. So yeah, before we get to that, I think the first 2 acts were decent. They're like okay. It was like a Saturday movie kind of thing where it's like, oh, I want to be a racer, but I'm a gamer kind of thing. Play by numbers. it was whatever.
I've yet to become a racist.
But towards the end of the second act, there's a racing event where he accidentally gets into a crash and he kills somebody.
Oh shit!
Somebody like was watching
from race. Gamer to murderer.
Yeah, right. And my brother and I looked at each other like, "Oh,
this is interesting.
This is interesting. Okay, like murder." No, I'm sorry. Yeah, this actually happened. So yeah. But anyways,
yeah, it did happen.
Oh, no, fuck.
No, like it's based on a true story, but it did happen.
Right,
that part of the movie did happen.
So I was like, okay, in terms of the movie, at least this is getting interesting, and we do get some interesting back and forth between him and David Harbour, who I think was good. But really good. I think he surprised me. Like David Harbour. There were so many memes going into it. I'm like, oh, he's just going to be memeing. But his character is easily the best, right? Like his character is the best.
Yeah, I think he's better here than he was in Black Widow or Violent Night.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Oh, for sure. I haven't seen Violent Night, but yeah, definitely better than Black Widow. Because he actually gets some stuff to do. Like you can sense his relationship with the student, the way he envisions.
Care about the relationship.
Yeah, you kind of care. Like it's not the best, but it's like definitely the highlight.
I care more about their relationship than the actual father-son relationship in this movie.
Were we supposed to care about that? Like, I love what's his name? The actor who plays his father.
Djimon
Hounsou.
There you go.
Djimon Hounsou, great actor. I think Hollywood just doesn't know how to use the guy.
He's so good, man. Like he was so good in Quiet Place Part 2 in that little small role.
And I love Quiet Place Part 2. I love that movie.
I hate that he got killed off. Like he was pretty good in it though.
He was great. But yeah, so I didn't really care about that, but I cared about like David Harbour like seeing himself in this young kid. That dynamic was easily the best. And again, after the whole racing incident,
this movie sounds very cliche.
It's very cliche, and that's what it is. Like you come for the racing.
Don't really care to see it.
You come for the racing, and that one it's solid. But I think, like Edgar said, it could have been.
Like, why watch this when you watch Ford v Ferrari?
Yeah,
agreed.
And funny enough, the third act of this movie is very similar to Ford versus Ferrari, with like the 24-hour race, and there's like a rain sequence that they're still racing on. It's kind of
we're taking turns. You got to end it for us. Close out strong. Okay.
You can't beat like when Matt Damon holds up the sign to go faster. Oh, what a moment!
What a movie! What a picture!
When Christian Bale decides to slow down.
Man.
But going back to like the relationship between Harbour and the main guy, I did like there was like this constant like joke about like there's a certain needle drop that drops in the movie, like throughout the entire movie. I thought that was pretty good.
What track?
Oh, I don't remember because I don't remember the title. It's not really like a song. It's more like a background music kind of song.
Is it the theme for Gran Turismo?
No. It's an actual like song.
If you hate me now.
God, that trailer is so bad.
It's bad. Yeah, I don't know.
Is Orlando Bloom good in it?
No.
He's just like he's trying to play like a weird little fella, and it doesn't.
He's trying to do his best, Barry Keoghan.
No, he's like, so what I want you to do is create a racing arena for these students. It's like, what are you doing? What's going on?
And then he's like supporting the main guy, the main student, but then the next scene he's against him, and then he goes back to being supportive.
Is he trying to be like John Bernthal in Ford v Ferrari?
Not even that.
Not even that. It's just weirder.
No. He's just weird. He was nothing. I was like, is he rooting for the guy? He's there for the money, obviously, but okay. Anyways, Orlando Bloom also a wasted actor. I think he's great in.
What has he been in recently? Not much.
Not much, man.
But yeah, that's Gran Turismo.
That's Gran Turismo. Yeah.
PlayStation ad.
Yeah, it didn't make me want to buy the game at all. I was like, oh boy, I can race in the rain. Oh shit! No, I hate driving in the rain. Anyways, I'm not gonna do that. Anyways, so yeah, I've seen a lot, guys. So, where are we at?
Let's finish out August for you guys first, and we can
Sorry,
move on
yeah.
to
The last two things I watched was Blue Beetle and Bottoms. Whatever you guys want to talk about.
Okay. I've seen both of those. So, is there anything else?
I didn't
you have
log
in
the
Fed,
deal. What? So we already talked about TMNT last stream, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Oh, I saw it. We should touch up on it.
Yeah.
Go for it. Let's do it again.
What a fun ass movie.
Super fun.
Like, I didn't really have many expectations going in, but like, it's you. Who would have thought if you actually cast like teenagers as Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, you get the best depiction of these characters yet? Who would have thought? Like, what a
Agreed.
concept.
Yeah, I think you can easily tell the voice cast had so much chemistry, just oozing off the lines.
The improvisations too, like they're do improv, probably definitely helped a lot.
It felt so real, so genuine, so endearing, hilarious. Even like I'm just watching this movie and I'm thinking to myself, like, I can't wait to watch it again and again.
Yeah,
because it has a lot of replayability. It's just simply very fun. The team dynamic is great. The team dynamic with April is really good, and I was surprised.
The year of Ayo Edeberry, honestly. Like,
she's been having a fantastic year. But yeah, I was surprised by how heartfelt the main arc for them all was in terms of like wanting to connect with human society.
The story surprised me in like directions it went. It felt very Pixar, very adult and mature in its themes. For being like a Ninja Turtles movie.
Yeah, I agree. I was just like laughing earlier because I'm looking at my Letterboxd review and I'm just saying like most unrealistic part of this movie is buying into the idea of Jackie Chan being a good father.
Coming in hot there, damn.
But I love how like ugly some of the character designs looked. And like very, very much stylized, and the fluidity of the animation was really fun.
Even though this probably wasn't, this is not something that you could have pulled off back in the 90s. It feels very 90s.
Oh, totally. The soundtrack is great. The vibes are great.
Incredible.
Paul Rudd as the Gecko is just character of the year. It's so fucking funny.
Yeah.
Was it? What's the quote? Dudes, they dots to go.
That
so good.
Yeah.
That What's Up needle drop is so good in the van.
Oh man, that's so lit. Oh, that's so lit. It's a great.
And the third act is really like powerful and just all of them coming together and. Really
agreed.
Good.
Like I think, like you get into a big city and it's big monster, and you expect it to be just like chaos, but it was still very focused, and it was creepy too. How all the animals were like combined, and it was like kind of disgusting.
The cockroach kind of animal, or whatever it was.
Yeah, I was like, this is very
Ice Cube. Actually, like, it was fucking great as Superfly.
Ice Cube was amazing, man, amazing. I thought he was really good. Yeah, Superfly was a very good antagonist, and again, how he kind of ran against the TMNT's like theme about connecting with human society kind of thing. And Ice Cube wasn't really wrong from his experiences either, which is kind of like
that's what makes a good villain. Like you once you get from in their eyes, it made sense.
Like you understand that these humans, especially the ones that he's running from, like these scientists, like they're not great people. They want to milk you. Not good. So that running gag about being milked was
so funny. Yeah. And Jeff Rowe, like 242, already climbing up to like one of the best modern animation directors for me. between this and Mitchell's vs. Machines, which is incredible.
Yeah. Well, he didn't direct that; he wrote it, right?
No, he directed it.
Um.
He was a co-director, but yeah.
Oh, all right. He doesn't get credit here, but
Really?
yeah, just as like screenwriter. But I believe
Yeah,
you.
he was a co-director. Yeah. Is Evan frozen?
Evan might be frozen, yeah, but that's fine because we can talk about from one insect to another insect. From
Yeah,
one
he's
cockroach.
a co-director on Mitchell's.
Yeah. But yeah, like, is final thoughts? Any last thoughts?
No, it was a blast of a movie, and I'm excited for the sequel and whatever this in between series is going to be on Paramount.
There's a series.
Yeah, they're doing like a 1.5 series.
Oh yeah, I remember hearing about that. Yeah. But hopefully, 2 comes out real soon. They already announced it, right? Because I saw it right now.
Yeah, they announced both
on the credits
right after.
Yeah. I heard that the sales on the toys are really huge, so that's probably why they're probably not as impacted by the box office results.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you want to talk about Blue Beetle?
Yeah. This movie surprised the fuck out of me. I had a really good time with it, and it's I think on the upper echelon of DCEU films. It's a blast. It has the biggest heart. I think. What's the actor's name? Zillow.
Cholo. What was it? Mariduena.
Yeah, he's fucking great as Jaime. And the love interest is great too. The whole family dynamic is what makes this movie. It's really strong, and there's like I said, it's the hugest heart, and that third act is really powerful, and it's just a fun movie.
Yeah,
it's shot really well too. It doesn't look like fucking concrete.
Yeah, it's surprising. It's a very colorful movie, especially like I think the biggest takeaways for me in terms of that, like in terms of color, is like when they're like in the previous like beetle, like Blue Beetle, like the base, like his like secret, like
it's so like vibrant.
Yeah, it's so vibrant, and like for me,
the
like
blots are black, like the card rating's great.
Yeah, for me, I think this movie's just a tiny bit too generic, but again, like you said, like for me, the thing that saves the movie is that family dynamic. That's like the center of the movie.
It definitely follows that typical superhero origin story formula that we've seen recently, but I think it does it pretty well. One of the best examples of it, and what we've been saying, it has the biggest heart while it's doing it.
Yeah, and it's funny to me because I just remember that you said that you watched The Flash between the last episode that we did and now.
I have seen The Flash now, yeah.
Was that before or after Blue Beetle?
That was after, but we could finish Blue Beetle first before we
but yeah, I thought I really, even though he's like a bit underdeveloped, I well, I don't remember his name, but it was basically the red Blue Beetle.
Yeah.
Like
doesn't really do much to do, but I think how his act concludes is pretty touching.
It's pretty strong, yeah. And like again, like the family dynamic is really good. There's a point in the movie where you kind of already know that how these origin stories goes.
It's predictable.
The main character is gonna lose somebody that he loves or whatever, but it's done really well because you care about these characters,
and because the direction's good. Like there's a lot of style shown by Angel Manuel Soto. I think that's his name, right?
Yeah.
He cooks pretty largely here.
Yeah, I haven't seen his previous works, but I hope.
What's he done?
He did Charm City Kings. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh, I haven't seen it, but I remember that coming out.
Yeah. But I hope, like, again, this entire fucking DC reboot is really fucking confusing for no fucking reason. But even though like James Gunn has already said that they're gonna keep Jaime for the new DCU, I hope they bring Angel back in some kind of way. I feel like he would handle really well like a
him and Kathy Yan, I think, are the best that I've touched this universe.
Yeah, I really hope like he gets to do like some maybe not a Blue Beetle too, but like what's the other guy's name? Booster Gold, the guy that is like his buddy or whatever. Yeah, I think that he has like a really good eye for this character already, and I would really like to see more about what he could do. Like again, everything is just very vibrant, really well shot, and like even the production design, like the Blue Beetle,
it's like
the Blue Beetle design, like the
filmmaking wise, it's really good.
Yeah.
But I guess we could segue into something not as good. The Flash. I mean, here's what I'll say. I went in obviously with the lowest expectations, and was it the worst DCEU movie? No, by a long shot. It was not. Was it good? No.
Yeah.
But it was at least still entertaining, more entertaining than something like Fear of the Gods or Wonder Woman 1984.
I think for me,
isn't a high bar, but like it's at least something.
Yeah, I think for me, the thing about the Flash is, I feel like its heart is in the right place, but the way that they go about it is it's not it. It's not it.
Like character wise, it does some interesting things, and as much controversy aside, Ezra Miller, their performance is pretty good.
Yep.
When he's actually on screen and not CG. when they are.
Those scenes with between like Barry's mom and between him and his mom and
the third act too, like
incredible,
really good.
Like you really feel like the emotion and like why we went on this entire adventure, I guess, this entire adventure because of like trying to save her, but like him coming to terms that maybe you can't save everybody and that's okay, which is kind of weird because like the movie tries to go with that message but then instantly like shows Barry being able to like change the past and still being okay, like when he basically saves his dad from going to prison or being like sent to like the death road or whatever. Like he puts back like the can of tomato on top so he could see on the camera or whatever. Like it's kind of like cross messages, like it's not really well communicated, I guess. But again, the Flash to me is just like it's a whatever movie. I don't think it's awful. It's obviously not one of the best superhero movies ever. I don't know what Tom Cruise, how much money they gave him.
I will say like, well, there is a lot of unnecessary CG. Like, why is almost every shot in this like have so much visual effects, and especially the opening scene with Batfleck. Like, why is he riding a CG motorcycle? Why that feels unnecessary. But a lot of it does have some surprising amount of texture in the filmmaking and like a lot of color. It doesn't look like concrete. Like Fear of the Gods or others. And it has some interesting things to say, but it doesn't say it that well.
Yeah, like I was telling you the other day, I think you messaged me after you saw the movie. Wait, it looks so weird, like between the human scenes and the CG parts. And this is not something that I considered when I watched the movie for the first time in theaters, but like I learned about it like afterwards, like not too long ago. Somebody was talking about like how the movie is now available for you to stream and for you to like buy on Blu-ray or whatever. And like one of the reasons why the movie looks so weird is because the movie was essentially shot in 8K, and like they basically downscaled to 4K. But obviously, like when you're rendering stuff, like for like visual effects, sometimes they render them up to like 2K. So that difference between quality,
but that still doesn't really make up for the fact that there's a lot of unnecessary CG humans in this, and vehicles were given a shot.
But it was an artistic choice, Josh.
It was it?
Well, that's what he said. Andy Muschietti.
I see that, but I don't know. It was so terrible.
But I guess you can't really excuse it because this is not the first time. I think Chapter 2 has some really weird human CG people.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. We just talked about Blue Beetle and we're on the Flash now, if you want to add anything.
Again? You not already
I have watched both of them.
You're muted.
Can you not hear me?
You're still... Not coming through.
Oh, I did hear you.
Josh.
Oh,
Go
then
for it.
it's just me.
Again?
I could come back. Let me come back out and come back in. See if that works.
Okay. But yeah, just to finish on the Flash. Michael Keaton, what the fuck were they doing with him in this?
Slipping through.
Just did in the check. I respect it, but like, ugh, it was bad.
It's weird because it doesn't even see. I think they confirmed it or not, but like he's not even playing the same Batman from the Tim Burton universe, so he's just there for no reason.
Yeah. Can you hear him, Edgar?
Still no, but I'll exit and then I'll come back.
Oh, now I can't hear you.
Now you can hear me?
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Oh,
Yeah,
Ooh, Jesus.
And what the fuck was that ending for the Flash? Like,
what was the
that's
ending
the
for the
weirdest.
Flash?
It is ending on George Clooney.
Oh yeah,
That was the most abrupt shit ever.
I didn't get that. So like, okay, yeah. So Clooney comes back, immediately erases any kind of great conclusion between him and what's it? Michael Keaton. Like, okay, for what? Jokes? Hey, Edgar, can you hear me? Great. Okay. So yeah, so I'm just like, so any kind of
And the tooth falling off was so bad.
It was so jarring.
I was
Like, what?
expecting like the Looney Tunes like ending thing, like the,
Yeah, that's all. Folks.
Done. That'd have been great. Yeah, the Flash was a hot mess. I think Sasha Calle was great for what she was given.
Oh, she was great, but she was barely given anything.
Really given anything, yeah. All her great scenes were in the trailers.
Yeah.
And yeah,
what did you do?
What did you do? Great delivery. And I thought she'd have some kind of connection with Barry, like, hey, why'd you save me? Why'd you save him? And then they never really cared about it. The mom scene I thought was really good.
Yeah.
But that was pretty strong. But the lead up to get there was just filled with mess after mess.
It didn't feel earned.
Exactly. It didn't feel earned there. And then his connection with fake Barry or bad Barry was predictable and just not really fleshed out much. And yeah,
Arguably the most annoying character of the year, Barry 2.
Mm-hmm.
it's up there. Yeah, it's up there for sure. Like not entertainingly annoying, right? There's been some fun, annoying characters this year, especially in bottoms. We'll get to that.
Hey, second.
But real quick, I had a blast with Blue Beetle. I had a fun.
Oh, wait. Actual contender for annoying character of the year is Awkwafina in Little Mermaid.
Yeah,
That's the actual.
I didn't mind it that much.
It was horrible.
Yeah, it
Horrible.
wasn't great. What was the song? Scuttlebutt.
Trash.
Oscar-nominated song, Scuttlebutt?
No, hopefully not.
I want them to submit it, just upset Josh.
They submitted the one Ariel song, right? The new one.
Oh, the new one's good.
It's good.
couldn't even
Nothing for the Eric song?
That sounds terrible.
Eric song is good, damn it!
It's so bad. I rolled in the theater so many times during that song.
I was jamming, I was vibing. I was like,
That
okay,
movie is
Eric.
trash.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine.
Halle Bailey, good. Rest of the
Great.
movie, trash.
Get that Golden Globe nomination. Yeah.
Man, no, that's not happening with how much this year is staffed with comedy. No, that movie's not dating.
How many nominations does Golden Globes do? 5?
5.
Yeah, you're right.
You have Bottoms, you have
Is Poor Things-
Beer Camp, Barbie, Poor Things they to put in comedy if they want
is
to.
Poor Things comedy? Yeah, I'm not sure. how it works.
Joyride if they want to.
Joyride,
I think you'll put Little Mermaid over Joyride for sure.
Asteroid. I don't know Asteroid City.
Nobody watched that, Josh.
No.
Color Purple.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Wonka.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. As of now, it could contend. Anyways, did you already talk about Blue Beetle? What did you guys think? You liked it? Hated it?
It was surprising for me. Yeah,
I really liked it. I thought it was
I had a
fun.
blast with it.
Me too. I think the family dynamic was really strong. Zola
looks
was really
great.
good. It really looks good. Yeah, I had fun. I think the big weaknesses were just the bad guys were very basic and not very entertaining.
We were talking about that, and we were just saying that we kind of did like how they wrap up his arc or lack of an arc, but
Oh, for the main weird bad guy.
Baddie, yeah.
Oh yeah, like the red blue beetle.
Yeah, like you're right. Yeah, like the way they wrap that up was kind of.
We
they
didn't
actually
talk about
tried.
Susan Sarandon, who was fun in the movie.
Yeah,
Not
she was
much really
fun.
to do, but she was fun.
She did good. But overall, yeah, I had fun with Zolo's performance, the chemistry between him and all the other members of his family. It was very heartfelt, like with what happened with his father, and then all the chaos around his like whole community. It was a very communal kind of movie, and I really liked that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with it. The powers, because I've been seeing Blue Beetle in animation for so long, and it's so unique and it's very cool. I think they did a very good job translating that to live action. I had a great time with it. Yeah, it was very fun. Definitely the best DC thing we've seen this year so far.
Yeah.
Is there anything else?
Easily, yeah.
Yeah, it's just that and Flash, I think.
Yeah.
Aquaman?
Shazam too.
Shazam was this year. Fuck.
Yeah.
Man, what a skittle roller coaster.
Can't wait
Okay,
for
so
Baby Gate in Aquaman 2.
I have no idea what that is besides people talk about on Twitter.
Baby Gate?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll see.
Because, well, I guess I won't spoil.
Okay.
Oh, he has a baby. Does he have a fake baby or something?
It's okay. I guess I'll spoil it. It's not.
We don't care. It's Aquaman.
I don't even know if it's in the movie. It's just a comics thing. But Black Manta essentially kills Aquaman's baby, and that's why.
Oh shit.
And that's why everybody's joking. Like, that's why people have walked away from the early screenings or whatever.
There's no way.
Bro, James Wan's cooking with that.
Yeah, like James Wan, like going back to his
if they actually gave him like full freedom, I would believe it. But
yeah,
not in 2023 WB.
No,
this isn't Mother. Yeah,
oh god, that movie is so bad.
I hate that movie.
It's good.
I hate it.
It's good until in the second act.
Yeah, I was vibing with the
it's
beginning.
Way too big of a swing for me.
In over his head for sure. Yeah. Okay. So what else you got here? Are we in September yet?
Bottoms, is that the last thing from August?
That's the last thing I watched. Yeah.
Oh, I watched that.
I watched it in September, but yeah, we did talk about it now.
We do it now. This is one of the best movies, best comedies I've seen all year.
My number 2 of the year.
Whoa! Holy shit!
Holy shit! Theater camp?
I fucking adore this.
I'll put Bottoms over Theater Camp easily, for me at least.
Not easily, but like they're both top 10 for me. But Bottoms is just, I think, a perfect movie. Wow. It's hilarious. I like nonstop laughs for me.
Spider-Verse.
No,
Past Lives.
Past Lives, yeah, Past Lives. It's just, it's hilarious, nonstop laughs. The character work is incredible. The balancing of tone from Emma Seligman is just on another level. The performances, obviously, Ayo Edebiri and Rachel Sennett, and Havana Liu Rose is her name. I think, right?
She's
incredible.
Great. Have you guys seen her in another movie on Hulu? She was in this one action.
No, that's it. I tried watching it. I didn't get far into it.
Wasn't great, but she was really good. And then she's even better here. Yeah.
But yeah, it's just almost a perfect movie for me. It's the right tone. It's just everything I want in a movie. It's like surrealist, which I wasn't expecting, but I loved. Like there's just that it just goes over the edge a few times in the best way. It's absurd. It's just it has some beauty to it too, and it has the fucking blooper reel, which is really cool. And yeah, it's great. I love it so much.
I know, like everybody's saying, like the raunchy comedy is finally back, but like something that Bottoms reminded me that I didn't even realize that I missed is like comedies that just go so over the top that to the point that they kind of like are in like in between fantasy and like reality, almost like
it's like a spiritual successor of sorts to Jennifer's Body, I think. But like, obviously the more comedy version of that.
Yeah, in a sense like that, and also something like, I know this comparison has been done before, like something like Scott Pilgrim versus the World, or even like This Is the End, like this like super over the top to the
super
point
absurd.
It's almost like a live action cartoon, but it just works.
Yeah, I just love how like the world is like obviously highly unrealistic and highly like what's the word I'm talking about? I don't know. I can't think right now. But it's so good.
You said it right. It's very absurd and crazy, but beneath it all, it's just very heartfelt. It has a great message about belonging, about like connecting with others, and just it's very romantic. And it was just in relating to other people. Yeah, I found it to be fantastic as well. I think the comedy works across the board.
And the cinematography is like actually incredible.
It looks really. It just looks really good.
Incredible. It's so good. Yeah,
that was kind of surprising. Yeah,
the score is really good. The soundtrack by Charlie Etzietz is great.
Soundtrack's great. You're right. Soundtrack and score is great. Performances are great. It's just
almost everything is just perfect. I think.
What's not to love? Like, I mean, granted, if this isn't your kind of like absurd comedy movie, you're just not going to vibe with it.
Yeah.
But for me, it's a
throwback. It's for me.
it's a throwback, but it also feels very modern in its takes and its relationships, and direction too. I love the direction of the movie. So overall, I had a blast with this movie. There's not a lot of like extreme amounts of depth, but it doesn't need to be. For this kind of movie, and I think the messaging just really works for me, and just the connections and their relationships.
But like even there is a lot of depth too, because like the way it goes from like pure comedy to and switches with after the gym scene, and has dessert. Then you get the fucking Avril Lavigne needle drop, which is one of the best I've heard in years. Like incredible.
Great needle drop, yeah. Bring back more needle drops. Ruby Cruz was amazing as a huge Willow fan. She was amazing in Willow. She's amazing here.
Why are you laughing?
I know. What the fuck, Edgar? You got something to say, Edgar?
You got a hater over here.
I know.
It's already dead. Don't kill it even
say
more.
Something?
It's good. It's good.
Oh my god.
It's better than fucking Rings of Power.
Yeah, easily.
Because you haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Bring back Willow, fucking Bob Iger. Anyways, I just imagine if Ayo was in Willow, that'd be amazing. But yeah, all the characters are great. Like they play cliche versions of characters we've seen in this movie. They're very cliche, but they nail that kind of humor. They dive into that cliche, and just make it something very unique overall.
Even a character like what's her face? Kaya Gerber, I think is her name.
Oh yeah.
Like she's like obviously playing like the stupid hot girl, but then it turns out that she's not those things. Yeah. She's like way more than that.
It plays up
to subverses a lot on tropes, and I love it for that.
Definitely. And yeah, I was surprised at how violent it got towards the end. I was like, we're going there.
Last 20 minutes is like one of the best action set pieces I've seen in so long.
Insane.
It's like, so good.
They killed people. I was like, oh shit. It was great.
I know a lot of people are like praising Nicholas for his acting, for his comedy chops in this movie, but I think for me personally, I think Miles Fowler is even better because
he's the sidekick, right?
The sidekick, the boy. He's essentially the boyfriend.
Yeah.
But like again, like just the way that he talks to them and that entire sequence, like when he like at the beginning of the movie when he what was Ayo's name like in the movie, her character Josie.
Josie, sure.
Yeah, when she hits Jeff with the car on his knee, and just the reaction of the other players is just so magic.
Yeah, he's like, yeah. That was great. It was amazing. Yeah, the commitment to the comedy from everybody in this movie was so amazing. Yeah,
we talked about the direction already, right? But like this Emma Seligman's direction, like she's the real deal. Like this and Shiva Baby, like she's up there.
Still need to watch that. That was my homework assignment.
You haven't seen it?
Movie. No.
Evan.
That was my homework assignment. I meant to watch it, but then
it's so good.
Life found a way. So yeah, I gotta get on that. Okay.
We did do a transition from bottoms into shit. Wait, give me 1 second. I forgot to do the timestamp for that.
This man. What do you want to talk about? Mustard?
I watched a few. No, not yet. I watched a few like classics I hadn't seen before. That I could do a little rapid fire of.
Go for it. You want to finish the new stuff?
Well, there's some more new stuff.
Okay.
The Devil Wears Prada. I watched for the first time.
Oh wow, what do you think?
Great, fun movie. It's
Great movie.
probably the quintessential mid 2000s movie.
It's up there.
Anne Hathaway, always great. Meryl Streep, always
Emily
great.
Blunt.
Emily
yeah.
Blunt, always great. It's just a really fun
Fantastic.
time.
Yeah.
I watched Stanley Tucci. Oh, he has some good emotional moments in that too.
The Tooch.
I watched Mean Girls for the first time.
Whoa! First time?
First time.
Holy
Yeah.
shit!
This man has missed all the classics.
Wow! I've seen Mean
And
Girls
let me
like
just say,
1,000 times. Holy
2
shit.
words. Rachel McAdams.
Great. Yeah.
Incredible. She's one of the best to ever do it.
Mean Girls is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Really?
It's top 20 for me. It's great. I love that movie.
I think it's very good, but it's also very dated.
In a lot of there's a lot. Isn't there like a lot of fat humor in there?
And there's a lot of like racist stuff in there too.
Yeah, but
A product of its time, but it's good.
Part of its time, but you're right. Yeah, I love that movie. I love that. I grew up watching that movie all the time. Yeah,
it's very good, and it's very. I could see it like how influential it's become too.
Big time.
I also watched Crazy Stupid Love for the first time.
What? Gosh!
Yeah. After watching Barbie, I was on a little Ryan Gosling kit. I saw La La Land in theaters also. Again, which was fucking magical. And so I wanted to watch Crazy Stupid Love for the first time.
I love Crazy Stupid Love. Probably my first. No, Easy A is my first Emma Stone movie, but Crazy Stupid Love was like up there. I saw that during.
Like the first half, I was like, okay, this is a pretty solid little rom-com type. Then it really shifts in the second act, and
that
like, becomes
ending,
a lot more serious. And that ending is wild.
Wild. Who you? That's your what?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh, that was the whole backyard scene.
Great. Emma Stone. I think it needed a lot more Emma Stone in this movie.
She's barely in it.
Yeah, and Marissa Tomei is like perfect in this. She's so good.
Yeah, I love that movie. Yeah.
What did I watch also? Little Shop of Horrors. I watched for the first time.
Oh, I never watched that before.
Frank Oz directed. It's adaptation of the Broadway musical.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good. It's it's very campy, very the music's great, the production design's incredible. Steve Martin has like one of the best guest starring roles I've ever seen. Like probably the most anyone has ever committed to a role. He's so good in it. And I highly recommend it. It's great.
Great.
And I guess we could end and transition to something you guys have seen. I watched the first Saw for the first time also. And
great movie.
It's good.
Yeah, I think it didn't hold up. It didn't hold up on rewatch.
It definitely aged a lot.
Yeah, I rewatched it because Nathan and I have been watching all the Saw movies, and I think having rewatched the first one, it's a very different vibe from even the other subsequent movies in terms of how they structure the Jigsaw traps and how they combine the detective storyline with the overall Jigsaw storyline.
It's more like a psychological thriller where I've heard like the rest of them get very torture porny.
No, even having watched it now, I don't think it's very torture porny, the series. Nah. It's a very convoluted storyline in each movie. But this one it's way more focused on the detectives, on your Donald Glover, on what's going on with him, and what's happening with what makes Saw 1 so great is the dynamic between the two actors in the trap.
Cary Elwes is
he's
so good in that third act. He just goes
Lee Winnell.
Batshit crazy.
Cary Elwes, Lee Winnell make that movie so special. Yeah. That's why you buy that ending so well. The other movies, they try to replicate having new characters in certain traps, but they don't have the vibe that just that one-on-one dynamic.
They don't ever connect with one another, which is why this movie works, because you actually care about these two, even if they're not great people.
Exactly. I think that's the secret sauce of the Saw movies. Having watched all of them now, is
X.
Can I read this Letterboxd review for Saw 1?
Sure.
Oh, yeah, sure.
I found a jade quaint and a bisexual dilf They're locked inside of a dirty bathroom for 8 hours. You won't believe what happens next.
Pretty fair. Pretty fair.
Yeah.
Also, like, I don't know if this is an actual fact, but it very much feels like it. It feels like James Wan was very inspired by something like Seven, making this. At least the attempt.
I'm tired of people saying I was inspired by Seven, but yeah, you're right. I can kind of see the attempt there as well. With like that secret antagonist behind the scenes of it all.
Yeah. There's an actual connection. It's not like Civil War being inspired by Seven or whatever.
Exactly. Oof. Yeah, I love Civil War. I love it, but nothing to do with Seven. Anyways, I think the secret sauce for the Saw movies.
Civil War?
They
the
did.
Russo said it.
Yeah. And again, I love Civil War. It's great, but Seven? No.
I haven't seen Seven. Also,
oh my god,
my favorite movie of all
I knew
time.
that would break Evan. Yeah.
My favorite movie ever. But anyways, it's okay. But again, the secret sauce for the Saw movies is having characters that you can relate to and connect to while they go through the traps, while also having a good Jigsaw storyline. But also, if you're gonna have a detective storyline, make it a little bit compelling, make it a little bit interesting. The other movies try to replicate an interesting detective storyline, but they inevitably always end up in failure, so it's not really that compelling. I think my favorite Saw movie is Saw 6, which I think was very entertaining in terms of like the traps, the people in the traps, why Jigsaw's after them, or why the killer's after them, and everything in between. I think Saw 6 was very entertaining. My favorites, I did a whole list, were like 1, 6, 5, and 3 were very entertaining. The last couple were very like mediocre, even though I had fun with Spiral, but it wasn't really a Saw movie. It was very different.
What's the ending with Spiral? I remember watching the movie and I was like,
I won't spoil it, no. But it's a Saw ending. They try to replicate that Saw ending, so I'm just gonna say that. But anyways, yeah. So Saw movies are pretty solid for the most part. I
think I've seen the ending of Spiral actually, because like when I was working in a movie theater, I think I had to Queen during it. So you spoil it if you want.
Yeah, we're good. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, whatever.
Anyways, we can just dive into Saw 10 since we're on the topic.
Yeah, this one I don't want spoilers for because I'm planning to watch it.
No spoilers. I think Saw 10 rocks. It's a blast. It's a fun time, and they finally nailed a well-structured Saw movie. This movie is an hour and 58 minutes. The other Saw movies are an hour and 31 minutes. They try to hit that 90-minute horror mark.
So it's better being longer?
I think it's better or longer because it actually has time to cook. You actually have time to care about the characters, even the ones in the Saw traps, which is hard to do because they're inevitably going to die. A lot of the movies don't really care to make you care about them, besides Saw 6. And I think Saw 10 actually made you interested and actually engrossed in the characters that are going through these traps. It made the reason, the motivation for Jigsaw, doing these traps was actually very interesting. And I actually liked his dynamic with a certain other character in the movie as well. Mm-hmm. If you're fans of the franchise, I think there's a good character dynamic that Jigsaw has in this movie that I won't go into. But again, overall,
What movies do I need to watch?
1 and 2.
Evans, you've seen all of them.
1 and 2, I guess. Those are really the only. Yeah. I would recommend 1, 2, and 3 just for that pathos overall. But 1, 2, and 3 are basically its own trilogy.
Have you seen all of them, Edgar?
Not all of them. I've seen the first 3. I think I've seen it's 6, the one with the healthcare.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I've seen that one. I've seen Spiral, and I think that's it.
Yeah, 4 is like my least favorite, by the way. 4 is
Is Jigsaw good?
Is what?
Jigsaw.
I didn't like Jigsaw. I did not like Jigsaw. It was different.
Wait, so like Jigsaw's the main villain. Do I need to watch that for Saw 10?
No. I would just say
it's just the name they use.
It's the name they use.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah. Again, 1, 2, and 3, but 1 and 2 especially are really the only ones you need to watch. But yeah, so I think this is personal. It's vengeful. It's amazing. well acted. This is Tobin Bell's best performance as well, in my opinion. At 81 years old, it's really astonishing.
Dang.
Yeah, I had a blast. I was open to more movies now if they want to hurry up and do it before, Yeah.
Who directed this one?
Kevin Guttart, who also did he did 6 and Jigsaw, I think, before this.
Fuck you, Noah.
But thank you, Noah.
You fucker.
I think he did 6 and Jigsaw, and I hated Jigsaw, but I loved 6, so he's 2 for 3.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think the reason why this movie works so well is because essentially the first act of the movie plays as a drama. It's like almost as a straight drama, and it's really well done.
So good. I was so like, okay, like I was interested in it. Yeah.
Yeah, and when you actually get to the traps, I guess the traps are so effective because of that build-up during the first act. You actually get to spend time with these characters, even if you don't necessarily like them. But again, you have some sort of connection, and at least you know what they're doing, the things that they're doing in the movie.
Okay.
Not going into spoilers again, but yeah. What else? I think the way the last trap is solved is really cool. Again,
really
trying not to go into spoilers, especially because a certain character is involved. But yeah, this movie is really good, and it wouldn't be Mexico without the piss yellow filter on. So.
Why are we doing that in 2023?
They're still doing
Come
that?
on,
Didn't they do that in the newest Purge movie also?
Yeah, and the funny thing is that the entire movie essentially takes place in Mexico, and whenever they are in the actual games in the warehouse where the traps are happening, the filter just disappears. But it's only when it's only when they're outside.
It's astonishing. Like, people recognize this, people know this, but directors are still like, you know what? Just in case people might think we're in New York or something, let me make that yellow filter. Like, come on, we're smarter than that.
And one last thing. Again, trying to avoid spoilers, but you already know the movie takes place in Mexico, I guess. So I guess it's not really a spoiler. But I just want to see a movie dedicated to how they got the traps to Mexico, how they like transported like the puppet in the airplane.
Great point. Yeah, he's an engineer, so yeah, okay.
Just have Jigsaw going through the border.
Through the border. Little tricycle.
Yeah.
After going on a date with Chucky.
Yeah.
That whole internet thing was so funny.
It's just this movie is just such a fun time. The ending is just so it's a great Saw movie. Like, I haven't been that thrilled by it in a long time. Yeah, this is definitely one of the higher ones. Top 3 Saw movie, maybe even the best.
Yeah. And speaking of thrills, there's 2 movies that kind of meet that criteria.
Oh.
A Haunting in Venice and No One Will Save You.
Oh, yeah.
I liked both of those movies.
Same.
Yeah.
I think they were both really good.
I like one better than the other.
I haven't ranked any movies in the past month. I need to rank all these movies. So I don't... Let's start with...
They're both solid floors for me.
Oh, I wouldn't even go that high with a lot of them.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that high.
All right.
I really like these, but I don't know if I'll get the 4 rating. I haven't given a lot of 4s recently. I saw X the 4. No One Will Save You was almost a 4.
Like candy.
Yeah. I think if I were to guess out of the 3 of us,
but it takes me a lot to hate a movie, and admittedly my review scale is so fucked up.
I mean, yeah, it's whatever you think.
I don't care.
Is 3 and 8?
Yeah, no, 3 is like the 6 for me. I mean, that's what it is.
Yeah,
so.
I think 3 is a 6.
It's mathing.
Yeah,
6.
But I think out of the 3 here, I think I'm the one who likes No One Will Save You the least, but I still like it.
Yeah.
I think I was ready to give. Honestly, I was ready to give No One Will Save You like a 4, 4.5 with the direction it was going. But I didn't. The one thing that really let me down, I think, which is one of the most important parts, was the subject of empathy and the guilt that has been shadowing her throughout the whole movie. They were being very subtextual with it. Just
very vague.
Just tell me what happened. There's no reason to be so vague with it. Like, the rest of the movie was so thrilling and stunning and surprising and wow, it was so cool. But then the human elements, I'm like, huh? And it made the ending fall flat for me, where I'm just like, it was so weird. I like weird. I like weird a lot, but it was so weird that I didn't buy into it because the build up to the reason or what happened between her and her friend.
I don't
was
think
just so
the rest of the movie achieves the highs of the first act.
The first act is so good.
It's fucking incredible.
It's thrilling. It's like, oh my god, like.
But
yeah,
I still really liked where the movie ended up.
I don't know if I did.
It's pretty strong.
I don't think
visuals are great.
Yeah, I don't think I disagree with the ending where it ends. But I think the movie, not only that, but I think there's several points in the movie where you think the movie's gonna end and it just keeps going, and it just
and
it just feels like filler.
It definitely wobbles a lot.
Yeah, but even then, those like surprising scenes where it's like she's running in the forest, then she gets stabbed, and then she did all this other stuff, and it's like it's a lot to process. Now I was on board for the ride.
It's definitely original, though. I will say that.
Super original. I think it was a great time. Oh, we got a runner out here. But yeah, overall,
Caitlin Dever also fantastic in this. For being like mostly a no dialogue film, like she's great.
She definitely gave me like that same vibe that Emily Blunt gave me during her scenes in A Quiet Place.
Totally.
Yeah, Caitlin Dever has not disappointed. I've seen all her movies. She's phenomenal.
She was even great in what was it, Rosaline?
She was amazing in Rosaline.
Yeah,
well, I like Rosaline a lot.
Or erased, unfortunately.
That was a fun movie. Yeah,
it was kind of mid, but she was great.
I liked her dynamic with Juliet, the actress who played her. Get her name. She's so good too. But anyways, No One Will Save You. Yeah, I think the thrills of the first act are good. I even like parts of the second act where it's like when it comes back to like the daytime
and
like, what's going on with this world.
I kind of love how it went past like the whole alien thing. Like the alien spoilers, dude. Do we want to spoil it?
Yeah, spoilers for No One Will Save You.
Once the alien died, I was like, oh, this is very interesting.
I was on board with this still. I was fully on board with it. I would have like dragged it somewhere else. Now in the middle of the hallway.
Yeah.
But anyways, like I was on board. Like this is one of those great movies where I can like insert myself into the dilemma and say like, what would I do in that situation? And it was just very like thrilling and very enthralling in that way. And yeah, just seeing her go through like, hey, I gotta go back to town, but even people in town still like,
still hate you.
But also like. Some people in town are also mind controlled now. Aliens can do that, so I was like, "Oh, okay, that's another wrench in the."
That's kind of like what I liked about the ending, though. Like I think like the last scene where she's kind of like giving into it. I think was very interesting.
The aliens like empathized with her pain.
That was weird. I wasn't really buying that. Yeah.
Why is it so subtextual? Just tell me what's going on. Like,
I think it's funny that this girl killed like an entire family of aliens, and they're like, "We'll forgive you."
Yeah, we'll forgive you. Everybody else, though, fuck them. I'm like, nobody else had a painful backstory. Like, what the hell? It's like,
I don't really love where it went, but I do respect like how bit of a turn it took.
Me too. Again, I like weird. I thought it was. I was like, wow, this is weird. A weird dance sequence at the end. She's smiling. She's like, technically not alone anymore, but it's a fake version of reality now.
Yeah, we don't really get like like small budget sci-fi movies like this.
Yeah, I would have loved to see this in the theater. I think I'd have been like,
totally,
because there's so many twists and turns and reveals. It was great.
I think I might have liked this movie better if I had seen it with an audience. To be honest,
me too. Yeah, because I was just like, whoa. Like I was like shocked and awed constantly because there's so many reveals and surprises. There are so many different forms of aliens and so many different powers too. Like one can freeze you, but then it can also like grow larger, but it can also like read your mind. Like it can also put stuff inside your mouth. Like it was doing all these different things in each subsequent sequence that I was so excited by. I might do this 4 stars. But I was on board with it. Like I had so much fun. And you're right, guys. Like an original sci-fi film. It reminded me of seeing.
Yeah, it looks that good too.
That looks that good. Granted, last year Prey isn't original, but like it's just one of these original sci-fi movies I just like seeing. It's unfortunate to see at home rather than in a theater. But overall, yeah, this is a fun movie, very fun movie. Haunting in Venice, also very good.
From
Very
Aliens
good.
to Kenneth Branagh.
The most Kenneth Branagh has took in movies. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like one of the best looking studio movies of the year.
Yeah. The
honestly.
cinematography, like I was gonna bring this point earlier, but I was gonna wait until we talk about this movie. You know how weird the shots in The Flash look? Like the cinematography, it just looks off, especially during those like big fight sequences. But that kind of like filmmaking is also like applied to this movie, but it actually works here to like
it's all
give
practical.
you like and also because there's like a purpose to it, like to give you like that sense of like dread, like this imminent dread that's gonna happen eventually later at night. And I really like this movie. I didn't expect it.
You finish.
Oh, I was just gonna finish my point. I didn't expect it to get so what's the word? So like personal with sentimental with the subject matter of like grief, which I guess every movie is doing nowadays. But
I love it. I just eat them up.
Yeah, this movie does it really well. It's kind of predictable too. But
I love how it kind of like puts the mystery on the back burner to like focus on more of a like sentimental ghost story. And the way that culminates in the ending is really good, especially with Poirot's character. And it's like, I really love those last few moments of the movie.
Agreed. I think that was probably the best part of the movie. Poirot's personal journey about processing grief, and there's a lot of stuff that goes unsaid with his grief and his personal journey because they're not visibly shown.
Well, I mean, we did get the mustache origin story though.
Exactly. Like I think it works as a capper to the trilogy because by this point we understand what he's gone through. We understand like what's been happening to him in his past experiences with the war, and just seeing him evolve from somebody in the beginning of this movie is so alone, kind of like going through the motions, not really in it anymore.
He's kind of like in his Luke Skywalker arc in this movie.
Very much so. It was entertaining to watch. Seeing him get his groove back, become more engrossed with like the mystery, and also more engrossed with like his struggle with greed. Actually tackling that during the mystery was very good. I thought it was slightly predictable, but not fully. Like I was on board with like, okay, could it be this? But there were certain key shots. I was like, they're showing this for a reason. And 2/3 of the movie through, I was like, it's probably this thing. And
I picked up on it like from where spoilers when she walked him into the room. I was like, okay, that's her.
Yes. There was a scene where like the camera zooms in on her, like I had the key or whatever. No spoilers. Yeah. Whatever. Anyways, what was I gonna say? Yeah, the main origin for the crime. I'm not gonna get into full spoilers here, but it's been done in a lot of media recently. I'll just say, like,
there's a big one recently. What was it?
Like, I always go back to Sharp Objects. That's the big one.
Yeah. That's what. That's
It's been done like the movie Run with the people from Searching.
Yeah.
Same
thing. There's also that Joey Keane series that I never watched.
Wait, have I seen that?
I forgot what it was called though. I
thought I knew what you were talking about, but never mind.
What is it? It's on Hulu. That's
Joey King. I'm not sure, but it's been in other media. I was like, okay, I've seen this before, so I wasn't really surprised. I caught it via other people's interviews. The Act. Yeah, I've never seen it.
Yeah, me neither.
But I caught on to the caper, the antagonist, through other people's like interviews with Blanc. And I was like, okay, it's probably this person. But either way, I think the mystery was still very interesting. The cast is very good. I like the cinematography, the production design. It just looked very, very good. And
I just hope he keeps making more of these because after the first two, I thought they were pretty mid, but still kind of entertaining. And I still kind of look forward to them a bit. But this one like really went up for me.
For me, people make fun of the second one because of the denial. But I think it's better than the first one. And I think they've slowly.
It's easily the best of. Yeah, they've gotten better as they go.
I think they've gotten better because the first one, I think the ending just really destroyed my hype for the first one.
I couldn't get through the first one.
First one's just it's boring. Great cast.
Daisy Ridley is great.
It's boring and the ending is awful. The second one, I actually like the mystery, and then the third one, I actually like everything, the mystery, the actors, the underlying theme of grief. It's very good. It was solid. I didn't love it, but I had a good time with it.
I saw a tweet saying like, "This is Kenneth Branagh's like one for me," and Belfast was his one for them.
Yeah,
I was like, "Yep."
But also, Belfast was trying to be personal too.
It was terrible. Bad movie. Y'all know how much I hate Belfast.
Branaugh, you know, that's his childhood stuff, I guess.
Julian's saying, "You've got to go."
I don't know.
That movie was fucking so bad.
Yeah, I saw 2 action movies. I don't know if you guys have seen these. One is one of my worst movies of the year. I'll start off with that one.
Okay.
I saw Expendables. I saw Expendables 4.
Oh yeah.
Expendables.
Good God, this movie sucks.
How do you spell it?
It says expend 4 bulls. God, this movie's bad. Oh, it's so bad. Oh, it's just awful. The
Why would you watch it?
Bad.
Why even watch it?
Because my dad, my brother, and I were like, we gotta watch something this weekend. It's action, babe. We saw all 3 of the movies beforehand.
Let's go see Barbie again.
My dad does not see
or Oppenheimer.
3 hours. Okay. I would love to see Oppenheimer again, but I can't convince anybody else to. None of my family members like seeing movies more than once. I'm the only
creator.
We saw that last week. Yeah,
nah.
We'll get to that. But Expendables, the action was shot terribly. Just awful CGI, awful action sequences. This is like the epitome of the tragedy of modern action movies, where they're just choppy editing every other sequence.
How's Megan Fox?
Awful. There's this one scene, nobody cares. There's this one scene where Statham's you guys go on ahead, leave me behind kind of moment. And Megan Fox looks at him and she's just like, okay. Like, and it's supposed to be like the sad, like, don't leave me. But she's just doesn't sell it at all. Everybody sucks. The acting sucks. Statham's fine. He's better in the Meg. The worst part about this, it was like it didn't feel like an Expendables movie. It felt more like a Jason Statham and Friends.
Wait, there's a feeling for Expendable movies?
Yeah. Expendables 2 is good.
Really?
The appeal of Expendables.
It sounds so boring.
I want to see these like A-list, maybe B-list stars fucking shit up in
action.
Why? Right? Like,
why not?
They're still old.
Why not? Because I want to see Stallone. I want to see Arnold. I want to see like all these characters.
Just watch Creed.
Doing cool. No. I want to see these characters doing cool stuff in action movies. Because Expendables, you're just missing the appeal of Expendables. The first
there is no appeal for me.
It's the Avengers for old people, Josh.
It really
I'm
is.
not old.
It's fun. And even the third one.
I haven't seen. I've barely seen any of their movies.
The third one that's actually pretty solid as well. The third one has like Mel Gibson. I'm not a huge Mel Gibson fan as a person, but he was actually pretty good in the third one, and the action pretty solid. Like the action can be good. This one, they just didn't give a fuck about anything.
I don't know how true this is, but I was hearing the other day that one of the reasons why this movie happened in the first place is because Lionsgate, since they want to like sell themselves to somebody else, they're just trying to like show that they have like franchises under their belt. So
possibly.
Why not just re-release La La Land?
Right. Is that a franchise?
La La Land 2?
Yeah. We go to New York, City of Lights.
La La Lander.
Oh boy. But then I saw another great action movie this year. Equalizer 3 was amazing. Really good time. Definitely probably the best of the trilogy. It's up there with the first one.
I haven't seen a single one.
Yeah.
Wow, guys, where's your Denzel cred? Give me your
I'm
Denzel
not into
card.
like action movies like these.
Wow, Equalizer 3. The first Equalizer is really good. Second one's forgettable, but this third one was really good.
I do remember the first Equalizer because didn't it came out like around the same time as the first John Wick?
I think Equalizer 1 was like 2014, around that era. Yeah.
Wait, are these the Anton Fuqua?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Equalizer 1. Yeah, 2014, you're right. Yeah, same year.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So yeah, this one actually is him towards the end of his run here. And it feels like a good ending to his trilogy where he's trying to find this idea of home. why he got into this business in the first place, his connection with the community. The action shot very well. The cinematography is shot very well. This idea about darkness and light within him and within like the whole community as a whole. It was surprising the amount of depth went into like the setting and the character. There's some, basic modern action movie flaws where the antagonists are very like they're just fodder for Denzel here. Nobody really stands up a chance. We don't really care because Denzel is so good and he delivers some great monologues. It's a fun time. I think I would really recommend Equalizer 3. People will be surprised with that movie. And I liked Equalizer 3 more than a movie I saw last week called The Creator. You want to talk about The Creator?
Sure.
Yes. Yeah. Have you all seen it?
Yeah, I have.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Oh, wow.
It's not that bad. It's not that bad, but I didn't really love it.
Yeah, it's okay. I think for me, my main issue with The Creator is similar issues I had with Rogue One for Gareth Edwards. He still struggles, for me at least, with creating characters that I care about, compelling characters. The world, super fascinating. The sci-fi of it all, really cool. There's just one element where you can put a chip into somebody else's AI. You can get like the last couple of seconds of their life. But that was really cool sci-fi. But overall, the character that didn't really care about
generic and uninteresting.
Yeah, very generic, very uninteresting. John David Washington, I don't think his performance was even that compelling for me.
It was not good. I don't think it was that great.
I think the emotion of the finale is only sold via Madeline, the kid. I thought she was.
But even
really
then,
good.
like it's just Logan, but not as good.
Well, yeah. I mean, you see the trailer and it's like this is Lone Wolf and the Cub version 25. Like this is
like it does not have nearly the amount of emotional impact that Logan has.
Well, yeah,
and other movies of the same like idea.
Yeah.
I
agree with you.
I don't disagree with any of those points, but like for me, like I was just entertained for the entire movie, so I kind of didn't really care. It didn't really bother me that the character work it was kind of weak. I was just honestly just really immersed in like the world and how like they brought it to life. The visuals of the movie are great. I think even more impressive to me is the sound design. Like every time they're still like shooting those guns, the sound of those guns, it's so fucking like
little bomb dudes are so cool.
Yeah, they were pretty cool.
That's a creative aspect.
That was a great scene. It was terrifying. Just like seeing those bomb people just like run along the bridge and it was like just blow up and just murder. It was hard to watch.
I just feel like the movie's a little bit like too plotty, but at the same time it's kind of thin. Like for example, like the relationship between John David Washington's character,
so thin.
His relationship with like somebody like Ken Watanabe, like they're supposed to be like this like brotherly relationship that is broken, but like you never actually explore it.
It's not there. Yeah. It's
I think the best performance in the movie is Gemma Chan. Like she doesn't really have much to do, but she's fucking great.
I think the opening of this movie sells the end. Whatever comes afterwards really well. I think it's very gripping. The
kid is also really good too.
Yeah,
the first I don't know their name.
Madeline.
Yeah, they're great.
The first time you see the actual machine like drop the first bomb, it's great. That entire sequence is great.
I think the first act was. I mean, the first scene was very strong. But yeah, I think it tried to be more thought-provoking and psychologically deep than it actually was. Than it was trying to be, especially with this idea of AI versus humans. There's a lot to say there, but it doesn't really accomplish it very much. It's very just like 9/11
it's
coded.
Weird to have a movie that like paints AI kind of a positive light come out right now. Personally,
I didn't even think about that. But their like differences wasn't really like that compelling to me. So I think overall it just lacked emotion. Like I didn't really care. The ending again, I saw it coming a mile away if you watch the trailer. But I think again the kid really sold it for me a little bit towards the end there.
Yeah.
I thought the kid was good.
Also, like Ralph Ineson, like
He's always
I
great.
love.
He's
He's always great, but I just didn't really like. Even he felt like he was just like phoning it in.
Alison Janney was like the most stereotypical sci-fi villain.
Oh, so bad.
She was like what people think Quaritch is in Avatar. Right, she's actually that bad.
She thinks what?
The Stephen Wayne's character in Avatar.
Oh,
She's like the bad version that people who hate Avatar say he is.
Yeah. Well, in Avatar 1, for sure. He's not that great.
He's great.
In Avatar 1?
Yeah.
He's cartoony.
In a good way.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
What else? Is that it?
I gotta go soon.
Okay, let me tell you guys about the masterpiece that I watched this month. It's a little movie.
Oh,
called called Ratatoing.
Oh, this was part of our intro.
It is a direct to DVD.
of course it is.
Horribly budgeted ripoff of Ratatouille, based on the trailer alone. Let me just bring up some clips.
How did you find this movie? Why did you?
Letterboxd put up a thing about like saying about people who watched or watch a movie every day for a year, and someone did this movie every day for a year. So I was interested. It's only 45 minutes and it's on YouTube. It is horrible, but in the best ways possible.
Wow.
Is it kind of like that Pinocchio movie that came out last year?
Yes, exactly like that.
Okay.
That type of vibe. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, I've never heard of this movie.
It is magnificent. Here is a scene that they play 3 times in the movie. In a 45-minute movie, they play this 3 times.
Come on, Greg, it's time.
Whoa. Watch all this white background. What's going on here?
Is this Cocomelon?
They play this suit up sequence 3 times.
3 times of this theater?
3 times in a 45-minute movie. They were cooking on exponential levels with this.
What does this have to do with Ratatouille?
So it's about the first 15 minutes of this 45-minute movie is about these rats who dine at a restaurant called Ratatoing. And it's just their reviews of the food. It is those character, like extra to extra, talking about the food in this restaurant for 15 minutes. Wow. Then these critics who eat at this restaurant, rats, have the idea to follow this these owners of the restaurant on how they get their real ingredients that they use, and it becomes a spy movie. That's the rest of the movie, and they play that suit up sequence 3 times.
Sounds thrilling.
It is, and here's the baddies dance sequence in the movie.
2, 3, ahora!
The Mexican dub.
What?
This is making me very uncomfortable.
What in the world?
Josh, we're gonna be taken down because
Oh yes, the copyright of this defunct
Ratatouille.
DVD company.
This is terrifying. They're still going.
Still going.
They're just getting ready?
This is the dance sequence.
Oh no, that's disturbing. That's frightening.
So yeah, cinema.
That's some jigsaw shit right there. Oh shit.
That is the best movie I watched this month.
I can see that. Yeah.
But actually, one of the best movies I watched this month is Sanctuary.
Oh yeah, I gotta watch that on Hulu.
Yeah. It is fantastic. It's a one rotation erotic thriller with Margaret Qualley and Christopher Abbott. And it goes in directions that you would not expect. And the acting from Margaret Qualley is some of the best I've seen this year. And the ending is incredible. And I highly recommend it.
Yeah.
It's shot really well. The score is fantastic. It's so good.
Yeah. I tried to catch this at the movies, but I just missed it. Never
Me
had
too.
the
I
chance.
just missed it. I was pissed. I literally drove to the theater to see it, but then they canceled the screening because nobody was like seeing it. I was a little bit late. So I ended up.
It's basically like Roman Roy, the movie.
Oh wow.
It's like this guy, like this billionaire who takes up, but his dad dies, so he takes up this company, but he also has his like this dom fetish where this girl comes in like is a dom for him, and that's all I'll say. I went into this blind and had a great time with it.
Okay.
So it's great. Definitely recommend. Did you guys talk about Ratatoing Tyrone last month
Never seen it.
on Netflix?
I think I talked about it. I
think
think we talked about
Edgar
it
talked
last
about it.
Yeah.
I heard about for the month of July. Yeah.
It's very good. There's a lot of style, and for a directorial debut, it's really impressive. And John Boyd, they need to put him in more movies.
Yeah, I don't understand how that. Yeah, I don't understand how that man is not a movie star.
Yeah,
he hasn't had a good output post Star Wars. I hated Detroit and I hated Pacific Rim too.
What was that Sundance movie? I think we all saw.
Oh,
69 or something like that.
69. Yep.
It's like 3 numbers.
It's 3 numbers.
I think they changed the title though.
Yeah,
something like that.
I didn't see it. I didn't see it actually.
He was great.
I saw it. I heard it was great.
Mm-hmm.
Did it not get bought by a studio? I thought it was like a Netflix or something.
I think it was IFC, so it got buried.
Oof.
Yeah.
It's in hell.
Our movies go to die, unfortunately.
Yep.
Did y'all watch Love at First Sight?
Never.
Nah.
No?
What's Love at First Sight?
Haley Lou Richardson?
What?
You haven't seen this, Evan?
Haley Lou Richardson movie that I missed?
It's a rom-com, yeah.
Love at First
This is like up your alley. It's on Netflix.
What?
Haley Lou Richardson rom-com. Yeah, right? I thought you would totally be like watching
what?
This.
Love at First
It's
Sight.
a fun little rom-com, and it does have a very annoying Jamila Jamil performance, but besides that, Haley Richardson is great in it. And this is totally up your alley.
When did this come out?
It came out like a couple weeks ago.
A couple weeks ago? Fucking Netflix. Yeah, never heard of it.
That's
I will watch it. I will definitely watch it this weekend because I'm her biggest fan. Or I was until I forgot this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I'll watch it though.
Then, as we did end on the Wes Anderson Roald Dahl Netflix shorts that came out,
I love these.
I ate the fuck off.
Oh yeah, never.
But yeah, they're great. I'm a huge Wes Anderson fan, so I of course absolutely adored all of these. It's just such a great format for Wes Anderson to adapt like a short story like this, and it's a very unique style, and it's just the filmmaking is off the chain, and it's just him at his most, and I love it.
They're good. I've only seen 2. There's 4, right?
Yeah. Which ones have you seen?
What's the first one called? Magic.
Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar.
Yeah. Henry Sugar and the Swan, I think. The one with the gun. Yeah, that one.
The ending of the Swan is like devastating.
Yeah, it's really good. I'm enjoying it so far. I don't know. I've seen people say, I haven't seen all of them, obviously, but I've seen other people say like this could have easily been combined into like an anthology movie.
Yeah, very much to like French Dispatch.
Yeah, which it's kind of weird that they didn't do that, but I guess because it's
I
Netflix.
liked having nightly drops for these. That was fun for a week. Yeah, they're great to watch them if you like Wes Anderson.
Yeah.
That's basically it. I'd save the other two for next month since they happened in October.
Yeah, well, we'll have a lot to talk about next month. Yeah.
Oh, there is going to be a lot to talk about.
David Gordon Green, The Exorcist.
Yep. Me and Edgar are seeing May, December, and Eileen.
I might be seeing May, December.
You might be, yeah. I'm seeing The Boy and the Heron in 2 weeks.
Oh, good for you.
I can't fucking wait.
I'm watching Saltburn tomorrow. That's at least a win for me.
Yeah.
Nice, congrats.
That's nice.
But yeah, next month should be good.
Yeah, should be a fun episode next month. Evan, where do people find you?
You can find me going to bed right after this podcast. It's late. Find me on Twitter, Harris EV9. Going, always reading about Big Brother. Big Brother 25 still going. We have a whole month left until the season ends. 30-some days left. But I'm enjoying it. It's a fun ride. You know, Survivor and Amazing Race started last week, so I'm tweeting about those constantly. And The Traitors Canada started yesterday. So reality TV is my thing. I love it. But also Castlevania Nocturne. I finished that last week.
That's the anime, right?
Yeah, it's anime on Netflix. I'll talk more about that on the next podcast because I totally forgot about it. But it's fantastic. It's one of the best shows I've seen all year. I love that anime. It's great stuff. So yeah, always reading about anime, movies, and reality TV.
Nice.
Oh,
Edgar.
real quick, I will be on Hyperspace Hype tomorrow. So follow me on Harris EV9 because I got more to say about
For more
Ahsoka
rants on Ahsoka
and other Star Wars stuff happening these days. Yeah.
And you can find me at EDGRTG on all social medias, Letterboxd, Twitter, Instagram, all the good stuff. You can find some of my written work at Loud and Clear Reviews and the Cinema Spot. What did I do last month? I think I wrote about Sicario, which because we were supposed to do a Denis Villeneuve month, but then doing part 2 got delayed, but we still published them anyway. So yeah, there's that you can go ahead and read. I also wrote a review for The Nun 2, which I didn't talk about, but you can go ahead and read my thoughts over there. And what else? I think that's it for me. Yeah.
Yeah, you'd find me on Twitter at Josh D. Woodbury, and you find the show at WHFG Podcast on Instagram, Twitter, and Threads for show announcements and updates. Which are very rare these days. We're busy. Next, I don't know. It'll probably end up being the October episode, but we could do something in between.
We can try to see a Halloween
commentary. Yeah.
Halloween Town. It's my vote.
Edgar is so excited. I think that'd be amazing.
Yeah. We can watch it. Why not?
Yeah.
I'm sorry it's not, with the Mexico lighting that you love. I'm sorry. It's in Halloween Town.
All right. That's it for us. Well, yeah, we had fun. So that's where Heartbreak feels good.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.